is howling.
The Stanford Steve and the Bear podcast is back for another season of college football.
If having a couple of dollars on a college football game is your thing, then check out our podcast. Every week, we'll preview the upcoming slate of college football games all over the country.
We'll let you know what favorites to hammer and who to avoid, players to watch out for, and everything else you need to know.
It's Stanford Steve and the Bear. Download it wherever you get your podcast.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you going to miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, welcome in. The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine and, of course, OGW Energy Resources. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's had a great day. Excited for today's show. We have a ton to dive into as we are officially at that midway point of the week where we really close the door on everything that happened on college football Saturday and week 3 of the NFL season on Sunday and start shifting focus towards a lot of the big games and everything going on this coming up weekend. But man, Kev, I tell you, I can't remember the last time that I was more excited about an Ohio football team. Not Ohio State. I'm not saying I'm not excited about Ohio State's game on Saturday, but all eyes and ears are going to be on that Cincinnati Bearcats program. As really, I think that the entire college football landscape, the playoff landscape, really is all riding on this game. I think this is I know that Clemson and Georgia, when they played to open up the season, that was huge. Now that Clemson's eliminated, the ACC's eliminated. I think this now carries the most weight as far as the future of the college football playoff, because you have an independent Notre Dame. Of course, who's no stranger to the playoff, but right now, they get past Cincinnati. They have a realistic shot at running the table and being one of those Final Four teams. And then the Bearcats, if they do beat Notre Dame on the road, where they're favored, a top 10 Notre Dame team at that, the Bearcats control their own destiny, because I think if they win out and win a conference championship with wins against Indiana and on the road at top 10 Notre Dame, all of a sudden, I think this was the first year we could potentially see a non-Power 5 make the college football playoff. So this is the biggest game of the weekend coming up, Cincinnati, Notre Dame. We'll chat with Justin Williams, who covers the Bearcats for The Athletic. I can't wait for that game.
2:30 Sunday. I can't wait. And me and the wife had a discussion again last night about going to the game. She has to work on Saturday.
So you're going to the game.
It's up in the air. It is. She was like, well, you can go. Kind of giving me that, like, fine, you go, because she loves football just as much as I do. But I'm really thinking about going to this game, because I really think it's going to be an awesome game. Definitely going to be an awesome atmosphere. I've never been to Notre Dame, never been to a football game out there, anything like that. It's very tempting to go. I know everybody here in Buckeye country is hyped up about, next year's game with Ohio State and Notre Dame. And then the year after that, Notre Dame coming to the shoe. But, why wait? Tickets are on sale now. I can go to the game in Notre Dame. But, it's an opportunity for UC. It's a huge opportunity, because opportunities like this don't come the non-Power 5 way all the time. Like, things are setting up for them. And, when you're in Ohio State, when you're in Alabama, you have the luxury of playing in the Big Ten and the SEC, and you're also afforded the opportunity of a hiccup. You're in Ohio State's case, you're even afforded the opportunity to lose to a team that actually wins your conference, and you still get voted into the college football playoff. So all those teams, they have something in their favor, but not non-Power 5 teams, especially UC. So they've been banging at the door, begging to get in for quite some time now, begging to get into a Power 5 conference since, the Big East disbanded and everything like that. So this is their opportunity. I know in a couple of years they'll be headed to the Big 12, but guess what? The guys on this team, they won't be playing then.
Fickle may not even be here.
Fickle may not be.
I think he might be, but
yeah, I hope he is. But the likelihood of that whole entire coaching staff, they're going to be gone elsewhere. A coach on that staff, their goals are and aspirations to go to other places and climb the ladder as well. So this is opportunity, not just for the players, not just for Coach Fickle, not just for the coaching staff, but the whole university as a whole to get this done. And I can't imagine the amount of pressure that's on them right now because they see everything. They listen to the radio. They know what's at stake here. They know if we take care of business, we'll be in. And the opportunity is there for the taking because, like you talked about, Clemson has 2 losses already. Yes, Wake Forest is 4-0 in the ACC, but do we really think Wake Forest is going to run the table in the ACC to take that spot? I don't think so, but I mean, crazier things have happened before, but you're as you're a UC fan, you're banking on like, all right, man, a lot of these other teams going to start taking some losses. So they're going to have to let us in because there's multiple teams out there that's taking losses already. So, they just got to really take care of business on Saturday, obviously, and then take care of business in the rest of their games and be Notre Dame fans throughout the rest of the season, because what you don't want as a UC fan is basically what we're probably going to happen in Indiana this year. Indiana's not having a good year. Going into the season, they were ranked. They lost. They actually got blown out their first game against Iowa. UC went in there and came back and got a victory over them. So now that win isn't going to look as sexy towards the end of the season. Like, oh, you beat a Power 5 team, but it was Indiana. It wasn't Indiana of last year. It was this Indiana's same old Indiana. Like, that's the rhetoric that's going to be out there. So what you need for Notre Dame to do is obviously beat them, most importantly, and then hopefully Notre Dame still runs the table so you can prop that win up. Like, look, man, they only got 1 loss and it was to us. So, like, when you're in the situation that UC is in, you're not in a situation where you can just sit back and watch the madness happen around you. You still got to have rooting interest in the opponents that you beat because you want those wins to be propped up.
All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine and OGW Energy Resources. Coming up at the top of the hour, 4 o'clock, we will dive into, of course, the college football playoff 4 spots. I have 10 teams that I feel are your only realistic teams right now as we sit here at the tail end of September. I only have 10 teams that I feel like have a legitimate shot at knocking on the door and being one of the final 4 teams. That will shrink after some of the games this weekend, of course, and as the season goes on. But as we sit here right now, and that number will fluctuate. I mean, I'm saying that number could shrink. Who knows? I think maybe that number could grow if some big wins happen for teams that we're not really paying attention to. Arkansas is an interesting storyline right there. That team up north, they're kind of interesting right now in regards to, they're a top 25 team facing a non-top 25 Wisconsin on the road, and Wisconsin's the favorite at home over that team up north this weekend. A lot of different and weird lines.
Smoke them.
Yeah,
Michigan's going to smoke them.
And like, I find that line interesting. I also find the line that is, Cincinnati, and this isn't a shot at Cincinnati, but it's very, very weird to me looking at that matchup and seeing that Cincinnati, and it was a 2.5 point line as of yesterday. It's now a 2 point line as we sit here today. I think that'll shrink. It could just be a gimme game by the time. I think that's a gimme line to begin with. Yeah, it's a pick'em game anyways. Yeah,
off the rip. What we always have to do is remind ourselves that Vegas, yes, they get a lot of these things right, but they also have to get money on the books. So they'll fluctuate that number to get the amount of money in-house as they need, to keep the lights on, so to speak. But it is very interesting to see UC, as yesterday, a 2.5 point favorite, and now today, 2 point favorite over Notre Dame, because, theoretically, the old saying is that the home field advantage gives you 2 points, and 3 points. So, it is interesting that you bring that up. I'm very curious to see how this game goes, man. It's so much on the table, so much riding on this game for UC, man. I can't wait.
All right, so that's coming up at 4 o'clock, 4 spots. I have 10 teams that could realistically fill those 4 playoff spots as we sit here at the tail end of September. I'll give that list coming up at 4 o'clock, and Kev will give his teams, and we'll dissect both and go from there. And then about 90 minutes from now, less than that, at 4:30, Justin Williams, who covers the Cincinnati Bearcats, he'll call into the show, and we'll hang out with him for a bit, kind of ahead of that. We'll talk with him about Cincinnati's transition into the Big 12 over the next couple of years. Will that be fast-forwarded at all? Will we see see them in the Big 12 even sooner. We'll talk about all of that coming up with Justin Williams with The Athletic, who covers the Bearcats at 4:30. But let's jump into the world of the NFL, shall we? I know it's a quick, that's switching lanes without your turn signal. It's just a quick, and that's what we're going to do. So, top 5, bottom 5, our NFL top 5, bottom 5. Of course, week 3 officially wrapped up as we head into week 4 on Monday night. We didn't have time to get into this yesterday. Of course, so much going on talking about the Browns and the Bengals. The Browns, their big win, not a big win, but their dominating win over the Bears. And then, of course, the Bengals, that was a huge win over the Steelers. And I could even say the Browns win was dominant over the Bears, but the Bengals win was huge and dominant with that win over the Steelers. So we'll, of course, touch on that more throughout the week as we head into the weekend. But our NFL top 5, bottom 5. Kev, let's start with our top 5. I'll let you go first on this one. Who are your top 5 teams as we currently sit here today? And for those of you who are listening, we appreciate that, of course. But if you want to be involved, head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show, like and follow the page, of course. But you could watch the show and interact with us. Give us your top 5. Give us your bottom 5, and we will read yours live on the air, as well as pull your top and bottom 5 into the show through the Facebook feature. So make sure you go and check that out. You can also watch us live on YouTube on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Our NFL top 5, bottom 5, week 3 in the books. Kev, your top 5 teams in the NFL as we sit here midweek. Who are they?
Man, number 5 for me was very difficult. Right before the show started, I had to change mine because I had a certain team in there, but I just believe in this other team more. I'm rolling with the Kansas City Chiefs. I know they're last in their division. They have a losing record right now. They could have lost all their games this season, but they could have won them all as well. And they turned the ball over 4 times versus the San Diego Chargers, and they still almost won the game. So I still believe in the Kansas City Chiefs. I still believe in Patrick Mahomes. I still believe in Travis Kelce. I still believe in that offense that can get it done. Yes, their defense struggles, but you know what their defense always does? Well, has done over the last 3 or 4 years. Over the course of the season, they get better and better and better, and they have impact players. They have an impact player on the defensive line on Chris Johnson, and then they also have the Honey Badger in the secondary, roaming the secondary and everything like that. So I'm still going to roll with KC at number 5. Number 4 for me really hasn't changed. The Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns got another good win over the Bears. Yes, the Bears had a rookie quarterback out there, and I'm sure we'll talk about this as the week goes on about, their head coach and how they had an awesome game plan for a 15-year veteran for a rookie quarterback to go out there against that Cleveland Browns defensive line with a terrible offensive line. But nonetheless, the Cleveland Browns, they did what they're supposed to do. They got after a rookie quarterback and sacked him a whole bunch. A rookie quarterback who has a propensity of hanging onto the ball. Holds onto the ball a ton, a bad offensive line, get them. And that's exactly what the Browns did. So I got the Browns at number 4. Number 3 for me, Green Bay Packers. The reason the Green Bay Packers jumped up so high is because after that first game against the Saints, they look rusty. Not only rusty on offense, but they look rusty on defense. And they even looked rusty in that first half versus the Lions on that Monday Night Football game. But as a great quarterback as Aaron Rodgers is, started knocking off that rust. And in that first half against the 49ers last week on Sunday, he was throwing dimes. And then what happened? 49ers came back. Jimmy Garoppolo led them and got them the lead and everything like that. And like everybody always says, don't leave no time on the clock for that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. He led him down the field and got that field goal to get them that victory. Number 2 for me, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, they lost the game. Oh, my goodness. Tom Brady lost the game. But I still believe in that team. I know they just signed Richard Sherman today to get that defensive secondary fixed because it's kind of been lackluster so far this season. But I still believe in Tampa Bay. Look, man, it's the NFL. Everybody's going to lose, man. This ain't college football where people are running the table left and right. But number 1 for me is going to be the Los Angeles Rams, man. You got to be impressed by their performance so far this season. And even though I am not a Matthew Stafford guy, I got to call it how I see it, man. Man is balling. He is balling out here. So from everything that, their coaching staff said about Goff not getting it done and saying they needed a better quarterback in that position to get these plays done, to move them in third downs and everything like that. He's doing that. And we talked about it yesterday with Cooper Kupp eating off these option routes. Like, he is murdering off option routes. If I could do my fantasy football draft over again, I would pick Cooper Kupp with my second pick, man, because he is eating out here, leading the league in receiving touchdowns right now with 5. He's just eating out here, man. And I mean, we really don't need to talk about that defense, do we? I mean, they got Jordan Fuller, former Buckeye, Jalen Ramsey, best cornerback in the NFL. They got Aaron Donald, best defensive player in the NFL. I mean, the list goes on and on, man. They're loaded on the defensive secondary. They're loaded everywhere, man. So the Rams, period.
So one more time, recap your NFL top 5 after week 3, heading into week 4 is who again?
Rams 1, Buccaneers 2, Green Bay 3, Browns 4, Chiefs 5.
All right, that was Kev Nash's top 5. My top 5, again, NFL top 5, bottom 5. Head to Facebook, jump into the comment section. Your top 5 and your bottom 5 as week 3 is officially wrapped up. I'll start with number 5. Number 5 on my top 5 list, I have the Green Bay Packers right there. And by the way, I almost ran out of ink on this pen because I would have my top 5, and then I'd be like, oh wait, I have to get them in there. I originally had the Chargers at number 5. I'm a big believer in Justin Herbert in that offense. I had to take him out of the top 5. I think that they're getting close. I know that the rules, I haven't given you the full rules of this. You know, I have a little, so close. So close.
Who else is on that so close list?
I have the Bills. I have the Chargers and the Raiders and Cardinals. I have those in there.
It's still got a list of 15 teams.
The last time I counted that, so there you go.
The only other team I had on there that I really considered was the Cowboys. I considered the Cowboys for that number 5 slot.
How about Micah Parsons? That kid's unbelievable. So
imagine that.
I have the Packers at number 5. At number 4, I do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. People are making too much records right now. I don't care about records. I think if you're 0-3, you should be concerned. If you're 3-0, you should feel pretty good about yourself. But there's some 3-0 teams that I'm like, I'm still not sold on those teams. I'm getting a kick out of the people who are using their positioning and standings and their record right now, kind of pumping their chest. Really, a lot of this comes down to kind of what we know about some of these teams coming in, and then others we need to see a little bit more. So I have the Packers at 5. They had that horrible week 1 loss. I mean, there was so much talk about how Aaron Rodgers, all the offseason noise, and then for him to have a performance that he did in week 1 the way that they did, but to respond the last 2 weeks, have that big performance over the weekend as well, I have to put the Packers right there at number 5. They don't deserve to be out of the top 5, considering they were a game away from the Super Bowl last year, and they picked up right where they left off, technically in week 2, not week 1. But I have them at number 5. I just think they have Aaron Rodgers. You have the best receiver in football. You have a 1,000-yard back, of course, a great run game, a solid run game, solid offensive line. There's no reason for me not to buy into the Packers. They could be stronger defensively, but I'm not a fan of that division. So I have to go with the Green Bay Packers right there at number 5. Number 4, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously 2-1 on the season. I get it. There's some flaws defensively. They could have easily lost to the Cowboys. They've been kind of pushed around a little bit. They got pushed around this past weekend, but I still have to keep them at number 4. Overall, nothing. What's changed? We're talking about a week 2, week 3 matchup. For me, I need 4 games before I start really paying attention to records in rank and positioning in the standings. So I don't care about where they're at as far as that goes.
So Tom Brady's not going 17-0.
No, not going 17. He's already not 17-0. So but the Bucs, as far as I'm concerned, are still in the top 5. Defensively, they return everybody from last year. Great defense last year, not playing great defense right now. They did add Richard Sherman earlier today. I think that's going to help. I know that people are saying, adding an aged veteran like that, how is that going to help? Look, right now, experience is everything, and I think that's going to go a long way, more so come playoff time than maybe during the regular season. We shall see. Coming in at number 3, again, this goes back to stop paying attention to the records and standings right now because it all means nothing. I think, the Kansas City Chiefs are a last-place team. They're my 3rd team on this top 5 right now. They're a last place team. And I have people, Bengals fans, coming at me saying, well, the Bengals are a first place team. You need to have them in your top 5. Nobody, the Chiefs are a last place team. Nobody believes that they are truly a last place team any more than they believe that the Bengals are a first place team. Standings mean nothing right now. Records mean nothing right now unless you're 0-3. I have the Chiefs there. It's still Patrick Mahomes. They could easily be 0-3. I completely get that. But you talked about some of their flaws offensively, turning the ball over, and yet they're still in every freaking game that they've been in. I have to go with the Chiefs as far as that's concerned. And number number 2, don't care if you guys don't like it, the Cleveland Browns are number 2. I still think that out of all the teams in this top 5 list right now, they're the most complete team outside of the Rams, who I have at number 1. But the Chiefs, solid offense, but at the same time turning it over, their defense not the best. You look at the Bucs. We know what they could do offensively, but obviously their defense has been a little questionable to start the season. They're not playing the best football. And then the Packers, solid defense, great offense, still some question marks. The only team outside of the Rams in this top 5 for me, the Cleveland Browns, they're the second most complete team in football, not just on paper, but with the way they're playing right now this far into the season. So I have to put the Browns at number 2. Dominant run game. Obviously, that offensive line's great. Baker's been solid, of course. I mean, they are who we thought they were coming in. I would be lying if I would not say that I've expected a little bit more from the offense, but they've had some key pieces missing. They got OBJ back last week. I love seeing that he was, definitely a part of the flow of that offense. I really did enjoy watching that. I have the Browns at number 2. I think they're playing the most complete game of football right now outside of my number 1 team, which is the Rams. Matthew Stafford dropped him right in place. And that Rams offense has just absolutely taken off, and it's benefited Kupp, as you talked about, Kevin, some others. So it's been unbelievable watching that. Still a ton of football left to be played, but my top 5, again, as we currently sit here today, the Packers, number 5, the Bucs, number 4, the Chiefs, number 3, the Browns come in at number 2, and the Rams, the number 1 team. So we do agree there. Kev, on the outside, just looking in, I think the Bills and Packers are kind of the same team. I think that the Chargers and Packers, kind of the same team. The Cardinals, I just need to see a little more. I love what I'm watching. Just need to see a little more. And then the Raiders, 3-0. I don't know what it is, why I'm not buying in. I'm just not buying in. I don't have any professional analysis as to why I'm not buying in, but I just can't go there with the Raiders just quite yet. Just because. Yep, exactly. I don't know. It's just my gut. It's just something. But I need to see a little bit more. I do know this. The Raiders' defense is legitimate. That we know. In Carr, I think there's a trust factor there with him and fans and with media, and he's done nothing wrong. He's done his job. The Raiders are 3-0 to start, but that's why I have them as my fringe teams on just the outside, just looking at.
Yeah, Derek Carr, he's definitely playing how he did that year that he was headed to that MVP extension. Season. He got that extension, but he ended up breaking he broke 2 bones in his hand or something like that year. And then he missed the last 4 games of the season. Then the season went off the rails and everything like that. Looks like he's back to that form, like you talked about with that defense. Those 2 edge rushers just caused so much havoc for everybody. And, they had a close game against the Dolphins last week, but they end up pulling it out in overtime, man. So that's 2 overtime victories in a short season already, man. So they're battle tested early in the season, man. That's exactly where you want to be, man.
All right, so it's top 5, bottom 5. Kevin Nash and I giving you our top 5 teams in the NFL and our bottom 5 teams in the NFL. Chad Penrod on Facebook. I hope I said your name right, Chad. Chad has the Rams number 1, the Bucs number 2, the Browns 3, the Packers 4, and then the Chiefs/Bills at number 5. So I think it's generally along the same line as ours. I mean, you nitpick, where teams fall within that, but I have no problem with that top 5. It's very similar. A lot of really good teams at the top, but a lot of those teams have some flaws at the same time. That's why I just had the Browns as high as I did. Yes, because I'm a homer, but 2, I just think that the Browns defensively playing real well, offensively playing real well. Outside of the Rams, they're the only team I think that's the most well-rounded at this point. But again, a lot will change as we move forward. David Shaw, Kev, his top 5, he has the Browns at number 5, the Bucs 4, the Packers at 3, the Chiefs 2, and the Rams number 1. So I appreciate that some people are not letting the standings and the records kind of getting in the way. I think if the Chiefs start out 1-3, then you got to start scratching your head, because they could be 0-4. That would be a winless month almost. They could have lost to the Browns. They didn't, but I'm just saying they're that close to being 0-4. I'm not going to really let the standings or the records really kick into my analysis until after this week 4, because that's a month of games to really kind of base it off of, if you know what I mean. So.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, shoot, we were at, I want to say week 7, week 8 before I put the Steelers last year in my top 5. I just didn't like what I was seeing from their run game and their offensive line last season. And everybody was saying, well, they're undefeated. I was like, yeah, I'm happy as a fan, but as using my objectivity, I don't think they're better than X, Y, and Z yet. And then it just got to a point where they were 11-0. I was like, well, I got to put them up there. They're more than halfway through the season. And then, the wheels fall off. So it's my fault. I blame myself. I shouldn't have never put him up top 5.
Remember last year when I called it that starting with Washington, the tires would fall off, and that's exactly the tires, the wheels, whatever.
Hold your brakes.
They just weren't as crispy. Crispy. That's going to stick moving forward. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine and OGW Energy Resources. That was our top 5. Let's give you our bottom 5, and we'll do that on the other side. Again, the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, top 5, bottom 5. We gave you our top 5. We'll have our bottom 5 coming up. Head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show. Give us your top 5, give us your bottom 5, and we'll interact on the show when we come back. Or give us a call, 518-1410. We'll be back in just a few moments.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear and sunny, a high near 80. Tonight will be mostly clear, a low near 53. And tomorrow will be clear and sunny, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane, making buying propane easy since 1952, offering budget billing and pre-buy options. Find out more at culletpropane.com.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Today's pros need today's tools, and nobody understands that better than the Home Depot. Our app makes it simpler to get supplies ordered and delivered. Our online project calculators cut guesswork and last-second supply runs. Job site delivery puts what you need where and when you need it. And rental puts the right equipment in your hands, but not your overhead. That's how today's pros get more done. New tech, new tools, old-fashioned hard work. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
O'Reilly.
When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The water. A deeper connection with water can change your life, and that's what the home's first smart water network does. It turns your everyday routine into a customized experience.
Mowing. Fill the baby's bottle.
And it can stop a catastrophic leak with a simple water designs our life. Who designs for water?
The water.
Moen.
Hi, John Glazer here for Glazer Soft Water. We've been making water great since 1988, and no matter what your water issues, we have solutions. Your city water can be clear, but still be hard and have the taste and odor of chlorine. Well water can look, smell, and taste terrible. Glazer Soft Water will fix your water and will even include a 7-year parts and labor warranty so you don't have to worry. Visit our website to learn more at glazersoftwater.com. Glazer Water really is better water.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations, serving the greater Dayton and Cincinnati area, is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the best value in bath and shower remodeling. remodeling, and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that is safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase. Visit on Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com and upgrade today.
Frickin' football is here. Frickers has the games on all the screens and you score with savings. Enjoy your favorite ice-cold domestic draft personal pictures for only $6.50. A 48-ounce personal picture for only $6.50. And enjoy a plate of your favorite frickin' nachos for just $7. Take your frickin' pick. Frickin' chicken nachos, Mississippi barbecue nachos, or Nachos Supreme, only $7. This season, don't just be a football fan, be a Nacho fan. At the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. But like any air filter, the more clogged up it gets, the less it works. So how do you clean your nose? I'm Martin Hoke, and I didn't invent nasal irrigation. The neti pot's been around thousands of years. But I did invent Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage has over 70,000 online reviews averaging 4.7 stars because it works and it's easy to use. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Now available with eucalyptus for a spa-like experience. Navage. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Whatever you're into, you'll find it at Audible. Listen to thrillers, motivation, comedy, and more with podcasts, bestsellers, and originals all in one app. Sign up and start free at audible.com.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
All right, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. And, of course, live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Like the show, follow the show, and, of course, tune in live weekdays from 3 to 6 where you can watch us, hang out with us, and let your opinions be known in the comment section. We interact with you that way. We pull you into the show. Of course, we take your calls as well at 518-1410. For those of you watching, if you just give me a second, I got to take a drink of my coffee. I don't know what's so good about this coffee. I think it's this Jaguars cup I'm drinking out of. I'm not really sure if that's what's making it better. It's pretty good though. Herbs. I think it's the cup. Yep, this Jacksonville Jaguars cup. Yep.
I doubt,
so good.
I doubt you'll be drinking that on Friday.
I'll be drinking this on Friday. I guarantee you I'll be drinking this on Friday.
You putting a guarantee on it?
You know me. Megs. Speaking of the Jaguars, I don't know how much this helps their chances in a game that no one's giving or going to favor them at all. But the injury report for the Cincinnati Bengals officially out, Kev. The Bengals for their Thursday night game, which is crazy to think about tomorrow night. But sorry, Jake Whiting, you're the absolute worst. What the heck, Kenner? Hold on. I need to hold up, Jake. Sorry. Hold on. Man, I'm telling you, this cup, I can't get over how good this cup is. Man, no matter what you put in this cup, it's going to taste great. Man, the worst, huh, Jake? Holy smokes. All right. So the Bengals injury report is out for tomorrow night, Thursday night football, Jags and Bengals, of course. And Noggy says full of haterade. Hold up, Noggy. Sorry, one moment. I was running a little low. I had to refuel there, if that's actually what it is. So the Bengals will be without safety Jesse Bates tomorrow, who is ruled out. Wide receiver T. Higgins will be out as well. Awuzie, the cornerback, and Suafilo are both doubtful for tomorrow. So, but it does look like Trey Waynes will make his debut tomorrow for the Bengals. So that's a good thing. His debut at cornerback, of course, says that according to Charlie Goldsmith, that Brandon Wilson is the most likely candidate to start at safety for Bates, who will miss his first NFL game tomorrow night. So that's an update there. Look, at the end of the day, the Bengals, I don't think it's impacted the line. I haven't checked. It's not going to, I mean, you're without Bates. Yes, that's a big deal. But like the Jags have so many problems that same roster minus Bates is what just beat the Steelers a week ago. And as bad as the Steelers were, the Steelers are still better than the Jaguars, at least I think, right, Kev? I don't know how you're viewing that. The point is, the Bengals should still be fine. I don't want to hear no excuses come Friday, okay, that, we were without Bates. Noah Woozy. You're making me woozy talking about Noah Woozy being the problem. Give me a break. They should still beat the Jaguars. You have the Jaguars at home. No excuses. Week. Yeah. Hold up real quick. I need one more drink. Dang, this is good. Dang. All right, let's get back to it, shall we? We gave you our NFL top 5. Let's get back into it. Our NFL bottom 5 as we sit here heading in to week 4 tomorrow night. Of course, week 4 kicks off with the Bengals and the Jaguars. So, Kev, you gave us your top 5. I gave my top 5 as well. For me, the Rams, number 1, the Browns, 2, Chiefs, 3, Bucks, 4, and the Packers at number 5. That's my top 5. My bottom 5, the worst team in the league, the Cincinnati Bengals. No, I'm just joking. They're not even in my bottom 5. It might be, the first time. Might be the first time ever I don't have the Bengals in the bottom 5. I mean, I should expand this to the bottom 6 then, right? No, I'm just joking. All right, the Jets, worst team in football. Worst team in football. I mean, look, right now it's not just because of their offensive line, but I'm not sold that Zach Wilson was even the right pick at quarterback. They have no clue. Organizationally, they have no clue what they're doing. As critical as I am of the Bengals, as much as I rip on the Bengals, somehow, some way, in a tallest short person contest, the Bengals are taller than the Jets. So whatever that wins you, I don't know, but the Jets make it easy to be better than. Whatever. It's a disaster of a franchise for no reason whatsoever. The market, the resources, the money, there's no excuse for the Jets to constantly be an embarrassment to the league, and that's all they are. The Jaguars is second to last. Maybe I'm being a little too critical there, but my goodness, I think it's because I don't have faith in Urban Meyer right now. I was a big fan of Urban Meyer going to Jacksonville. I am just not sold on Urban Meyer at Jacksonville right now. I know they had a chance to beat the Cardinals this past weekend, but they choked ultimately, and it's just unfortunate. I'm a big Trevor Lawrence fan. I've been a fan of his since college, to the point to where it annoyed Buckeye fans how much I was a fan of his. But at the end of the day, this is a situation where I'm not going to gauge his first year in the league off of his individual performance, because there's so much not going right around him that it's going to hinder that. I know that the Bengals didn't have an offensive line last year for Joe Burrow, but he did have Tyler Boyd. He did have T. Higgins. He did have weapons, and that's what allowed him to still be able to put up the numbers he did, despite not having an offensive line or weapons around him. Or he did technically have a couple weapons, Joe Mixon as well. But that's not the case for Trevor Lawrence. So I have them as coming in as the second to worst team in the National Football League. I have the Eagles, Colts, and the Bears in my bottom 5. The Jets, Jags, Eagles, Colts, and Bears. And then on the outside looking in, I want to put the Lions there, but my goodness, there is something to be said about how competitive that they have been in all of their games. I mean, literally, I know that woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm not a fan of that mentality, but the Lions aren't being embarrassed like the Jets. The Lions aren't being embarrassed like the Eagles on Monday Night Football. The Lions aren't being embarrassed like the Jags have. The Colts have been embarrassing. The Bears, I mean, that was embarrassing this past Sunday. That's uncalled for. It's okay to lose to good teams, but that wasn't just losing to the Browns this past Sunday. That was an embarrassment to the national. The NFL should be embarrassed about how bad the Bears looked this past Sunday. That's why I don't have the Lions in my bottom 5, despite not having a win yet on the season. They're playing hard. They're competitive. They're in every game. That's all you can ask for a team that's rebuilding. The rest of those 5, I can't get on board. The Steelers, they have a win over the Bills to start the season. They got beat by the Raiders, of course, and then that bad loss against the Bengals. It's not just a bad loss. The Bengals are better than I give them credit for. Ugh. Hold on. I need to wash that out. Hold on. There we go. Okay, I had to wash that out real quick. But the Steelers, that was such a bad loss this past weekend, because it just looks like they go as Big Ben goes, and right now he's not going anywhere, and it just feels like they're going nowhere. But I still can't put them in that bottom 5. They're close, though. The Giants, what a disaster. Still can't put them in the bottom 5, though, but they're very close. Kev, One more time, recap your top 5 and then give us your bottom 5.
1 Rams, 2 Buccaneers, 3 Packers, 4 Browns, 5 Chiefs. So I've been thinking about my bottom 5, and I'm glad you brought up the situation with the Detroit Lions. I'm taking the Detroit Lions out of my bottom 5 because if you go back and look at every game of the season, they're in it. They're playing hard. And I know you don't get any points for that. It's like recruiting in college sports and everything like that. Just because you were his number 2 and he picked up the Alabama hat instead, you don't get him to come to your school and to help you score touchdowns or defend touchdowns. So it's not horseshoes. Almost doesn't count. But the simple fact that, like, yo, man, they really could have been, like, they could have won 2 of those 3 games to start the season. Like, they're there. So I want to take them out of mine. So I know the graphics is going to say something different. Neglect that the Lions are in there. But the worst team, and you're right, and this is also all jacked up, the Jets, man. The Jets are the worst. The Jets, on every single team in the NFL, you can squint your eyes and like, well, we're good at this. We do this well. I don't know what the Jets do well. You know, Robert Saleh, he was coming in there from San Francisco, was going to fix that defense. They were going to be like a ground and pound version. They were going to be the East Coast version of the San Francisco 49ers. They don't look anything like that. I mean, you spent a lot of big money in free agency on Chris Davis. He's dropping passes left and right. He's playing like he did as a rookie with all the drop passes. You have babyface Wilson out there looking shook. And the guy that you're paying to make those catches for him is dropping the ball, leading to turnovers as well. Like 2 of them went off his hands that were intercepted. So all of those are going to go on Zach Wilson. Oh, he threw 4 interceptions. Well, 2 of them shouldn't have been intercepted because the dude that y'all paying like $60 million dropped them. So that's 1. So they're number 32 for me. Jacksonville will be at 31 for me. This don't look good. They don't look confident. And you talked about their game against the Cardinals and everything like that, man. They had a kick 6 to end the half. I saw the stat pop up on ESPN the other day about teams that score a special teams touchdown. 95% of the time they win the game. They had a special teams touchdown to end the half, to take the lead into the half, and they still lost. Yes, I know Arizona's got a whole bunch of weapons, but goodness gracious, man. It's almost like when Arizona needed a turnover, they gave it to them. So Jacksonville, you're at 31. Then I'm going to put the New York Giants up there, man. They had a heartbreaking loss to the Atlanta Falcons where they had a whole bunch of old-time Giants players in the building. They honored Eli Manning and everything like that, and they still lost. When you got guys like that coming to the stadium, we're honoring one of our legends, Eli Manning, and give it up for LT, Lawrence Taylor, and you still lose, that's heartbreaking, man. So they're in there as well. And you know why teams like the Bears and the Steelers can't be in my bottom 5 is because they're elite at something. Granted, they're both elite at defense, which defense is, still kind of like optional in the NFL. The Steelers have had one of the best defenses in the league for years, and they ain't got no Super Bowl to show for it. When they won the Super Bowl, the one Super Bowl that they won, the defense was elite versus the Arizona Cardinals. The one that they won against the Seahawks, it was elite. But you know how long ago that was? Very long time ago. So all those years in between there, they had elite defenses. They didn't win a Super Bowl. Same thing with the Bears. The Bears have had an elite defense since the 80s. Ain't winning no Super Bowl since 85. But I can't put them in my bottom 5 just because that side of the ball is so elite. I'm going to put – I don't even know who to put in this other bottom 5, man, to be perfectly honest, man. I'm looking back at my other weeks because I'm trying to keep track of it this year. Philly, man. I'm going to put Philly in there as well. So the NFC least is making their presence known in my bottom 5. Jalen Hurts. They traded for Minshew. Week 1 looked awesome for Jalen Hurts. But you know what happens after week 1? Oh, we see what you're going to do. That's on tape now. We're going to take that away from you. So now they're not scoring at that high clip that they did week 1, and that defense ain't looking good either. So Philly's in my bottom 5 as well.
All right, and that, excuse me, that was our top 5, bottom 5 as we head into week 4. Week 4 kicks off tomorrow night. Make sure you get your week 4 picks submitted at wingam.com. Yes, sir.
I decided I'm about to do that now because my goal this year is not to forget a week.
I still angry, but like I said,
I'm beating you.
I technically haven't forgot. I just signed it. So I made my picks with one email week 1, and then like an idiot, I know a lot of dumb things, but like I used a different email. I must have made 2 different accounts over the years, and my laptop, my computer picked the different one from week 1. It's annoying, but nonetheless, yes, get your picks submitted at wingam.com. $25 in Frickers Bucks awarded to the weekly round winners. $100 in Frickers Bucks awarded to the season winner. But right now, of course, it's been a fun start to that. A lot of names on there I don't recognize as well. So everyone has a shot. Even if you haven't participated the last couple weeks, that is totally fine. Head to wingam.com, get your picks submitted right meow. And it doesn't matter when you start, but I'd like you to start now. Get your picks submitted. Even if you don't have a chance to win the full season, you could still win week to week. $25 Frickers Bucks, of course, goes to the weekly round winner. The email that you sign up with will be the email that we reach out to you to give you directions of how to come pick up your prize. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Tom House, Kev, who plays, he's a 6'6" shooting guard for Centerville.
Mm-hmm.
He committed today. He picked a school today. That was announced earlier today. I'll have that school for you coming up, Kev. You're going to like it. You're really going to like it, actually.
Oh, I know. I think I know where it is.
Yeah, so Tom House, congratulations to him. Guard from Centerville. He committed to his future D1 team. He'll be playing at the college level basketball. Of course, we'll talk about that coming up on the other side. 518-1410, plus your top 5, bottom 5. I see some new ones rolling in. We will, of course, read that on the other side as well. We'll be back in just a moment.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstart batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, Buckeye fans, as the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes, Roosters is giving away 12 trips for 2 to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with airfare, hotel, gift bag, and 2 tickets to the big game. One bowl prize winner chosen each week, along with other cool Roosters weekly prizes. So register every week at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Official contest rules at roosterswings.com.
Hi, folks. It's me again to let you know that we've just unloaded a semi-load of fresh new landscape plants of all types. We have nice dwarf Alberta spruce, mugo pines, taxus, pyramid arborvitae for privacy hedge, lots of nice boxwoods, magnolias, white pines, dwarf blue spruce, topiary shrubs, fat Albert blue spruce, and dwarf Japanese red maples, and dozens of other varieties of shrubs. We also have thousands of shade trees, flowering trees, and fruit trees, and weeping trees. One of the most popular trees is the Cleveland Select flowering pear, which blooms in the spring with nice white blossoms. Every yard should have one. Our 6-acre garden center at 1309 Brand Pike is Dayton's biggest, and we've been in business since 1963. Come out and see why.
Homeowners and business owners, listen up. It's time to go solar. Go solar with OGW Energy Resources. OGW Energy Resources has been providing service to the Miami Valley for over 14 years. Find out how going solar can save you money for your home or your business. Check out OGWEnergyResources.com to learn more. Discover the OGW difference today. OGW Energy Resources, your energy, your future, control it.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
In college football, Goodyear knows a new season means new possibilities, where every Saturday is an opportunity on the road to greatness. No matter if you're out there playing your hardest or cheering the loudest from the sidelines, tailgating in the parking lot, or your favorite spot to watch the game, Goodyear knows passion is what drives us forward all the way to the playoffs. That's the road that moves us. Goodyear, more driven.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Is fall your favorite season? Lowe's is definitely the place to get ready for it. From fall garden gear to seasonal decor, they have it all at a great price.
Football fans, the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show is officially back. Every Sunday morning starting at 11:30 a.m., College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will be live at Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. The guys will recap the biggest games from college football Saturday, including your Ohio State Buckeyes. The guys will also get you set up for the day's biggest NFL matchups, featuring your Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, and more. It's the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show, live from Frickers on 741, Sunday mornings at 11:30 on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash hanging out with you here on a Wednesday midweek show. Excited to be hanging out with you here. Coming up 40 minutes from now, Justin Williams covers the Cincinnati Bearcats for The Athletic. We'll chat with him ahead of the Bearcats' huge matchup with the Fighting Irish. This coming up Saturday, easily the biggest game in all of college football. I think that outside of that Clemson and Georgia game to kick off the 2021 college football season, that this is honestly the game that has the most writing on it as far as the impact on the college football playoff. Every game always has an impact on the playoff, especially when you talk about Ohio State and Penn State and Alabama and Georgia and others. But this one has a huge impact on it from a conference standpoint because Notre Dame represents an independent that takes a bit away from a conference. You look at Cincinnati, a non-Power 5 school. They beat Notre Dame coming up this weekend, and let's say they win in a close one, and Notre Dame wins out, and Cincinnati wins out as well. If you're talking about Ohio State's one loss, if you're talking about maybe a one-loss Oregon when it's all said and done, maybe a one-loss Notre Dame, it's going to come down to who has the best loss if everyone is, wins out. So there's so much riding on this game. We'll talk about that with Justin Williams, covers the Bearcats for The Athletic, coming up here at 4:30. I appreciate everyone who's given their thoughts on the Facebook page regarding the top 5, bottom 5. Kevin Nash and I gave you our top 5 and our bottom 5. So Chad has a problem with us having or not having Detroit in there, Kev. He brings up an interesting point. He goes, it's hard to put teams like Houston in the bottom 5, who's playing hard and has a win. And the Bears defense, they're still very good in the bottom over the Lions, who don't have a win. Chad, I said when we started the segment, for me, I don't care about win-losses right now. And if you're 0-3, I get it. I get why you're bringing that up about the Lions, but I don't care about records right now, and I don't care about who's in first, who's in last, because in essence, I mean, that has a lot to do with records. I think 3 weeks in, all the teams you're excited about being 2-1, and then there's teams who are 1-2. No one's hitting panic at 1-2. You have a chance to be 500 at the end of week 4. That's all that matters. Like I said, people who are losing their mind, the Bengals are in first place. Okay, they've done what they're supposed to. They've won 2 games to start, whatever. Okay, cool, super. They're 2-1 to start. They're in first place. Okay, but no, the Chiefs are in last place, and nobody looks at the Chiefs in last place and no one believes that they are a last place team any more than those who believe that the Bengals are actually a first place team. Records don't matter right now. Standings don't matter right now. I need one more week. I need a full month of games for me to get a good grasp of kind of what the direction that these teams are trending in. And luckily for the Bengals, they have a chance to go 3-1 tomorrow night against the Jags. We announced earlier no Jesse Bates for the Cincinnati Bengals. That came out of Bengals camp earlier today. And then no Suafila as well. So most likely got Jackson Carman starting again. Back on that offensive line. So when you brought up that you have a hard time putting not having the Lions in the bottom 5 over Houston and others, like I said, for me, Houston, by the way, has been scrappy. I don't have Houston in my bottom 5.
If Tyrod Taylor was still at the helm, would they be like kind of another version of the Lions for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, look, they were competitive with the Browns.
And he's going to be out quite some time because he's got to pull a hamstring. So now they're out there with Mills at the starting quarterback position. Yeah. And if we learned anything from this rookie class of quarterbacks, even at that top with Trevor Lawrence, they're all struggling. Like, there's not a rookie quarterback starting that's playing good football. Normally, we have like a rookie quarterback out here throwing for a ton of yards, having those rookie mistakes. But you're seeing those steps of development. Like, we're really not seeing anything out of these rookie QBs yet. The guy that we expect to have the best overall situation in Trey Lance, he's not playing. You know what I'm saying? So, these rookie quarterbacks are out here in very bad positions. Zach Wilson, I mean, the Jets have been a train wreck since Rex Ryan left. You know what I mean? The Bears, Nagy, goodness gracious. So, we can go all the way back to the NFL draft when I was begging the Bears not to take Justin Fields because I knew this was going to be the situation they was going to end up in. And then everything going on with Trevor Lawrence, he's turning the ball over. Not only turning the ball over with interceptions, he's also fumbling. He's really finding out those windows in the NFL aren't the same as college. You can throw a late out to one of those receivers at Clemson and everything's cool, but you can't do that in the NFL. Those passes are getting picked real quick.
I'm never a fan of the rookie head coach, rookie quarterback combo.
That fly came from your side of the to my
You're
side.
gonna hit it back over here. But I've never been a fan of the rookie quarterback, rookie head coach combination. I mean, you have Urban Meyer, who's learning the flow of the NFL game, trying to teach a quarterback the flow of the NFL game. That has disaster written all over it. I don't think, and you did hit it back over. It's not even a fly, it's a gnat. I don't even know what the hell it is.
It's even worse.
Driving me, it's driving me crazy.
So one more time, sorry. Who's saying that? What's his name talking about?
Chad.
So Chad, this is my question for you. What about the Colts? Because the Colts don't have a win either, and their starting quarterback has 2 sprained ankles. So where would you put them? Because if it was up to me, I would say the Lions are a better football team right now than the Colts. But the Colts on paper, but the starting quarterback has 2 ankles that are busted. Their all-star guard, Nelson, is out for quite some time as well. You just paid your middle linebacker a lot of money in the offseason, and he's not playing like he's played the years before. So I know it's only going into week 4, but I think the Lions are a better football team than the Colts on the field, not on paper, though.
Yeah, and really it just comes down to effort. And I do think that, we talk about the 3 facets of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. But I think there needs to be 4 because effort goes a long way as well. That's why I knocked the Bears into my bottom 5, because it's not just that they lost. Kev, they could have the Browns could have won a competitive game. Justin Fields could have thrown for 220, a touchdown, an interception, and the Bears could have lost 27-24. The Bears would not have been in my bottom 5. But that wasn't just a loss. Like that, they weren't even trying. Like as bad as the Jets' offensive line is, as bad as the Bengals' offensive line has been over the years, Joe Burrow never got sacked 9 times in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Wilson, who's been sacked a lot, 15 times on the season, he's not getting sacked 9 times in a game. That was not a talent. Yes, the O-line's not talented for the Bears, but a lot of that was effort. I know that the Browns have some pass rushers, but I don't care. These are professional football players. That result over Sunday, that was an effort thing, and I'm always going to knock you for lack of effort, so that's why I cannot have them. And that's why I have them in my bottom 5 as far as that goes. Jake Mellon on Facebook says bottom 5 teams are definitely the Jets, the Jags, the Giants, Houston, and ... Pittsburgh with a bunch of laughing emojis after that. So there you go. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Hour number 1 in the books. Congratulations. Tom House with the Centerville Elks. He announced his commitment earlier today. He's committed to Florida State.
Good thing he's playing basketball, not football.
I mean, look how fast Florida State, you want to talk about effort. They gave a great effort in week 1, and it's gone downhill ever since. But again, congratulations to the Centerville Elks, Tom House, a guard for the Elks. He just committed to Florida State. He announced his commitment earlier this afternoon.
That's very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Florida. It's going to be awesome in the wintertime for him. He ain't got to shovel no snow.
I don't even shovel snow. I just walk
just
over.
Drive over it.
Just drive over it. Pack it down, baby. Pack it down. My mailman loves to hear that, by the way. All right. Hour 2 coming up next. On the other side, there's 4 college football playoff opportunities. And I have 10 teams. I only have 10 teams that I believe are in the hunt for one of those final I only have 10 teams that I believe are good enough to fight for those final 4 spots. Who are those 10 teams? I'll give them to Kev. Kev will dissect them, and then we'll get your opinions as well. But again, I'm looking at the college football landscape. So much more football left to be played. But realistically, I only have 10 teams on my list of teams that actually have a realistic shot of making the college football playoff. We'll talk about that to kick things off. 4 o'clock hour, second hour, hour 2. That's coming up next. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine and OGW Energy Resources.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Ready for renovations? Arts Rental Equipment has the tools you need to make your home, lawn, and garden stand out this year. From brush chippers to cutoff saws, no job is too small or too big. Visit your local Arts store today. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
COVID vaccine alone will not fully protect you from the coronavirus. You also need to be vigilant. It is critical to take a reliable temperature reading with the Exergen Temporal Scanner. It's the only thermometer whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Vaccines may not be enough, and thermometer accuracy matters. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
Oktoberfest at Milano's has begun. We're serving our once-a-year favorites like schnitzel sandwiches and German pizza. Get it to go or stay for the games with NFL Sunday Ticket. See you at Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps for big screen football.
Hello, I'm Clerk of Court Rob Scott, serving Kettering, Centerville, Moraine, and Washington Township. From October 18th to October 29th, you can come to Kettering Municipal Court and pay off half your fines and costs, and the other half will be waived. There is nothing to fear. Come pay off half your fee.
This is brought to you by Rob Scott, Clerk of Court.
Monster Jam. Coming to Wright State University Nutter Center, October 29th and 30th. Brought to you by BKT Tires and Direct Auto Insurance. Visit monsterjam.com for tickets and event details.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus, home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well, medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Fall is a great time to update your home with a fresh coat of paint from Menards. We've purchased truckloads of paint to pass the savings on to you. Get a gallon of Pittsburgh Ultra interior flat paint and primer in one for only $14.99 after $2 rebate and 11% off. Good through Saturday, October 2nd. Savings are mail-in rebates. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Do you have a home improvement project? Use the right tool for the job and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. Arts has the best selection from power washers and ladders to loaders and dump trailers. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Don't go it alone in your job search. It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Find the location near you at expresspros.com. No fees for job seekers. expresspros.com.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays at 3 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com. WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you going to miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Hour 2, we're off and rolling. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine and OGW Energy Resources. We gave you our top 5, bottom 5 out of the National Football League as we head into week number 4. Kev, Jake Mellon on Facebook says the top 5 is hard to sort out. It's hard to sort out 3 through 5, but he gave it an effort. He goes, he'd put the Rams at 1, Tampa Bay, Chargers, Green Bay, Cleveland, Vegas to round out his 5, and then Buffalo at 6, and he has Kansas City with some question marks. It sounds like he ran into a lot of, with Denver, Carolina 5 through 10. I mean, he's kind of going the full whammy here. But that, trust me, Jake, I have a lot of ink on my notes because I made my top 5, and then I was taking teams out. At one point, I had the Bills in, and then I had to. I know that the Bucs have looked a little rough to start, but I can't. I mean, I don't care about the start record-wise. I know that there's some flaws, but outside of the Rams and the Browns, and I'm not being a homer here because I know the Browns have a loss to the Chiefs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not ignoring the loss. But outside of the Rams and the Browns, every other team is very one-dimensional. The Rams are offense and defense. The Browns have been offense and defense. The Bucs have been offense and on paper, good defense. Results-wise, no defense. The Chiefs, defensive issues mixed with turning the ball over. So they've been a little rocky to start. The Bills, defensively, have not been as solid. They did have a very good game this past weekend. So there's just a lot of teams that have issues. The Cowboys have looked solid offensively, but defensively, I think they're being propped up by weaker competition. So I need to see more right there. I think it's tough right now to narrow down who the top 5 teams are. I don't use records in that. I started.
How long till you?
I think starting next week, I can really start holding records against teams.
Quarter mark.
Mm-hmm. It's just that's a month of games. Yeah. I can't get into the 1-2, 2-1 records. The Chiefs are if we're going to do that, then the Chiefs are a last place team, man. They're not a last place team right now. Everyone's kind of off, from the starting block. Everyone's kind of bunched in, and eventually people start pulling away and everything spreads out a bit. I think that's what's going to ultimately happen here. So
one thing about the Chiefs is a team that always beats them at least one time a year is the Raiders. And they always play them tough in that game in Kansas City nonetheless. So, with all that talk in the summertime when we had so much time to fill, we did our Reds talk, and we're not going to be doing any of that anytime soon. But all that stuff about teams going undefeated through the regular season. Kansas City, had that talk. Patrick Mahomes said that's the goal, or I know that's the goal to win every game and everything like that. But he was out front saying they want to go undefeated. That ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? And now, Tampa Bay, they taken their loss. So the two teams that people actually thought could run the table are out. So I really want people to understand this. And it's not even listeners. Listeners never say crazy stuff like that. It's normally the talking heads on TV that actually bring up, well, could they go undefeated? Ain't nobody going undefeated, man. It's the NFL,
That's
bro.
July talk. That's
it's not
all-star break
man.
for baseball. NBA's done.
The Dolphins 72 will have that record forever, dog. It's not happening again, man. Just like they're not going to be a two-time Heisman Trophy winner. It's not happening, man. Those are two things that I'm rarely say, take it to the bank, that good phrase. I rarely say that corny type of stuff, but those two things I am very confident on. I'm very confident there will not be another undefeated NFL team, and I'm very confident that there will only be one two-time Heisman Trophy winner.
All right. It's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine and OGW Energy Resources. We'll transition coming up here back to college football a little bit real quick. Ron Howard, the Browns could be 0-3 and you still would have them in the top 5. Ron, kick rocks, buddy. My goodness. I have your Bucks in the top 5 and you're still throwing heat at me. What's wrong with you? Come on, Ron. But nonetheless, 518-1410, 518-1410. We'll transition over to college football in a moment, but we definitely want to take your calls. 518-1410, that's the number to call in with. Again, top 5, bottom 5. We spent a lot of time on that. We'll continue with it to make sure we get everyone's take heard. Kev, who we have?
We got Charlie.
Charlie, how are you, sir?
What's going on, Justin?
Oh, look, you did call back today. You didn't get to get all your gloating in yesterday. You had to make sure you get a full call in today.
Yeah.
All right, bring it.
Hey, did you go see Dave Matthews last night?
Yes, I did.
I didn't know you were a fan, man. That's awesome.
Yep, I was there.
I saw him out in Noblesville earlier this summer, and then I went and saw him at Railbird a couple weeks back. But man, I thought I heard you make a comment a couple of days ago about Dave Matthews fans being stoners. It was something about Josh Gordon.
I didn't say they were stoners. I said that I've yet to go to a Dave Matthews Band concert that not everyone is just literally lighting up around me. That's all. You know what?
I didn't call them stoners. About it. Have you ever been to any concert where that's not going on?
No. But if you're entertained by people watching at Walmart, I was even more entertained by people watching at a Dave Matthews Band concert, because I'm telling you, I found myself just people watching more than watching the actual concert, to be quite honest with you. I was amazed at people. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag for sure. But top 5, you got to put the Rams number 1, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They look tough. They look really tough. And then after that, it does get shaky. I would say Green Bay is probably in the top 5. Cleveland, they haven't had an impressive win yet. Their defense played tough the other day.
Their loss. I know this sounds stupid, and you can make fun of me because I would make fun of you if you were trying to pull this. But their loss, their loss is actually more impressive than their 2 wins over the last 2 weeks. I know that sounds dumb, but the loss, mainly the game with the Chiefs, was just I just needed to see how they looked against the Chiefs again, especially after getting knocked out of the playoffs last year by them. But they looked the part against the Chiefs, so that's where I wanted to see kind of how they looked. I thought they were, there was a chance they can get their doors blown off, and they went punch for punch with the Chiefs. Again, that's a loser mentality. I get it, but it just shows that they're right up there with some of the top teams in the league. So I learned more about the Browns, yes, in a loss against the Chiefs than I have the last couple weeks with some wins. So we'll see.
Okay, well, so that's what I'm hung up on, because you've got the Buccaneers. I would say Buccaneers, Chargers, Rams, and Packers in the top 4. But with the Browns, like what you just said, you could make the same argument about the Dallas Cowboys. Because, I think they've looked just as impressive as the Browns. They're more – I think they're more explosive on offense than Cleveland is. But I think Cleveland's got a better defense.
Who did the Browns beat week 2?
It was a close game against Houston. That's
Tyrod
the thing
Taylor
that
game.
got me about the Browns is like the teams that they've beat. I didn't think they played that well. I mean, obviously Myles Garrett went off, but the Bears aren't that good. I think Dallas would be ahead of Cleveland right now. I'm not saying they're the better team, but I would put them in that fifth spot ahead of Cleveland.
Dallas does have a good win versus the Chargers. I will say that.
Well, yeah, and then they got a divisional win, and they had a close. The argument about the Browns and the Chiefs, the same argument with the Cowboys. They played toe-to-toe with the Buccaneers.
The difference, though, too, is like I know last year doesn't matter, but it kind of matters in regards to it's the same benefit of the doubt the Chiefs and the Bucs are getting, despite not looking, like they're playing their best football right now. I'm not bearing either of them for not looking great because we know what they're capable of doing based on what they proved last year. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Browns. The Cowboys, they outside of the Chargers, they looked they looked really good against the Bucs. Of course, they beat the Chargers. They took care of business on Monday Night Football against the Eagles. So you're right. The results are there if we're going to base it like that. But again, I'm not sold on the defense of the Cowboys yet. I do love what we're seeing, with the linebacker they get out of Penn State. But for me, it's just one of those situations where I need to see a little bit more before I'm like, oh yeah, the Cowboys have definitely turned it around from one year to the next.
Yeah, I mean the bottom five. You got you have 3 teams that haven't won any games, so they're all there. The Colts, the Jets and Jaguars, and then I don't know what the heck's going on with the Redskins, but they needed quarterback bad. They needed to trade for Mitchell Trubisky or anything. I don't know, like. I thought that they might challenge the Cowboys for the NFC East, but there's no challenge in that division. So I think the Cowboys are going to skate on. Somebody, it might have been Colin Cowherd, was like, they're the Pac champions. Like, they're going to skate on into the playoffs and get smoked once they get there. But I don't know where you put the Steelers at. I'd imagine they'll get it together. Maybe it'll be a middle-of-the-pack team. But after what I saw Sunday, I would put them in the bottom 5.
Yeah, they just have a win over the Bills, too. I mean, right now, this has been a weird start to the season. But, Charlie, anything else, man? We're running out of time.
Oh, no, man. You're good. I'll talk to you guys later, man.
Adios, man. Appreciate it. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. We'll get back. We'll do our college football conversation coming up here in a moment. Justin Williams with The Athletic covers the Cincinnati Bearcats. We'll chat with him coming up here 15 minutes from now. The Bearcats and Notre Dame, one of the biggest college football matchups here of week 5. Keith Tolliver on Facebook says, shout out to the Cards. Shout out to the Cardinals for just playing great ball and making the playoff. Oh, you're talking baseball. My fault. I thought we were talking football there. So we'll get back into that. I'll get to the baseball stuff in a moment. The Reds eliminated from playoff contention. And, I get it. There's fans out there that want to make excuses for the Reds. Actually, I don't get it. I can't stand that. I don't know how you're going to make excuses for the Reds. Oh, man, if the Cardinals didn't win 17 straight games, then we would have been fine. Really? You're going to say, oh, if the Cardinals ruined it for you. The Cardinals did their job. The Reds didn't do theirs. I don't want to hear none of this mess of, oh, man, if it wasn't for the Cardinals winning 17 straight, we would have been fine. You played the Cardinals within that 17-game stretch. You had an opportunity to put an end to that, and you didn't because you're not a winning ball club. I don't care if you finish with a record above 500. That's more from the success you had at the beginning of the season when you had a less talented roster. And then you get pieces at the deadline. You don't use them properly. And then somehow your manager. See, this is why I wasn't going to talk baseball today. So I
got him
Keith
started.
Tolliver. I mean,
Thanks, Keith.
My goodness. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm seeing all this. Whatever. We're not talking Reds today. I don't have the patience to talk Reds today. But to be fair, since we have baseball up, got to let me finish Keith's comment here. He says, shout out to the Cards for just playing great ball and making the playoffs. Reds, nice try. And to the hater who made fun of the Lester signing, eat the crow. Shaw probably. There's Shaw is minding his own business and he just gets up, rocks thrown at him. Good. I haven't argued with Shaw in a while. It's been a while. All right, Kev, let's talk about college football. Justin Williams again with The Athletic is going to call and hang out with us here in just about 15 minutes or so. But the college football playoff, we talked about this yesterday. There's some sneaky good games this week. And this is why when I say that I envision 10 teams have a legitimate shot at one of those final 4 spots in the playoff. That's based on now because things can change. But I promise you this much. When we were looking at the schedules a month before college football kicked off, things change. And no one would have circled this matchup right here as being an interesting one, and that's Georgia and Arkansas. No one would have envisioned Georgia and Arkansas being one of the biggest matchups of the college football season. Arkansas has a chance to prove themselves right here. They had a couple impressive wins. They're 4-0, number 8 in the country, but they're going to be on the road at Georgia. They have an opportunity. You beat Georgia, and again, they're 18.5-point dogs in this, but all of a sudden Arkansas, they're in the conversation now too. There'll be a new team to add to the mix, but I don't have them in my list of 10 teams that I have as being realistic contenders for the playoff. But for those of you watching live on Facebook and on YouTube, go check it out right now. I have my list up on the screen. So here's what I have. Let me put some music behind us here. I need a little music. So when I think of the teams right now that are fighting for a college football playoff spot, and I know that right now it's the tail end of September. It's not even October yet. No one's really officially looking at the playoff, but I did find it interesting that I think that this has been a pretty fun year as far as parity is concerned because the ACC is already eliminated, and it's not even September yet. But the college football playoff, you have 4 spots, and I have 10 teams who I think are legitimate contenders for the college football playoff, at least as we sit here in week 5. No contenders out of the ACC. The ACC will not have a team in the college football playoff this year. When you look at some of the teams that have struggled, I just find it interesting. The Clemson, 2 losses. North Carolina, 2 losses. The Hurricanes, 2 losses. I don't think Miami surprises many people with only 2 losses, but I will say Clemson having 2 losses before October, that's surprising. Even North Carolina with Sam Howell, I think that's very surprising. That's a team that a lot of people had as kind of like a sleeper team out of the ACC to compete for a playoff spot and to, fight it out with Clemson at the top. They still might be fighting with Clemson, but it's not going to be for anything other than most likely a New Year's 6 bowl game at this point. So it's going to be interesting how they finish out, but the ACC, no contenders. You look at the Pac-12, they have 1 contender right now, and that's Oregon. That's the number 3 team in the country. That's the only thing that I can look at for them and say, hey, you know what? Like that, they have an opportunity to be in the conversation as far as that's concerned. But the Big 12 has Oklahoma. The Big 10 has 4 teams in the mix right now: Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, and Michigan. The SEC has Alabama and Georgia, and then Cincinnati and Notre Dame. My 10 teams that I believe are fighting it out for those 4 playoff spots: Oregon, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, and Michigan, and then Alabama, Georgia, Cincinnati, and Notre Dame. Now, this list can shrink because Ohio State does have 1 loss. I believe they're the only team on this list with 1 loss, if I'm not mistaken. But I do believe they will have a shot to be able to bounce back from that. But Penn State and Ohio State will play one another. That one of those teams will be knocked out at that point. I think Ohio State, whether you like it or not, for Penn State, who has a great win at home against Auburn, Penn State's 1 loss. That's a big deal. That can keep them out of the Big Ten championship game, which would ultimately eliminate them from playoff contention. Iowa, they have a chance to run the table. Michigan, their schedule's tough, but they're taking care of business so far. But Kev, when you talk about 4 spots for 10 teams, these are the 10 teams that I believe are the most realistic at having a window open to compete for a college football playoff spot. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Any discrepancies within this list?
Looks good to me. The one team that I would add to that list for sure will be Florida. They have Georgia Halloween weekend, and the winner of that game goes to the SEC championship out of the East. So you win that game. If you're Florida, you go to the SEC championship. Whoever you play in the SEC championship, be it Alabama or Arkansas, whomever, or A&M or LSU, whomever makes it from the West, you win that game, you're in. So I would add Florida to that list.
So you would add Florida. If no Arkansas. Obviously, Arkansas, I think it's an interesting storyline, but they kind of,
they got a great win over A&M last week. They blew their doors off early in the first half. They got Georgia this week. So, I don't want to put teams in there that are undefeated and having good seasons. I want to show them their due respect, but thinking down the line how a season going to play out, I can see a path for Florida because they do have that matchup versus Georgia in the halfway through the season and everything like that on Halloween weekend. You get that dub if you're Florida, you're in the SEC championship from the East. So we already know you make it to the SEC championship with one loss, you win that game, you're in. So I will put Florida back on that list.
Shaw says, I just don't think UC has a shot to make the playoffs. Shaw, you're wrong. They do have a shot to make the playoffs. They beat Notre Dame this weekend, and they win out. I don't know how you keep them out of the playoff. This is the most realistic opportunity that any non-Power 5 school or Notre Dame, of course, has had of making the playoff. And I just I think that what has helped Cincinnati. Now, Shaw, to reset here. If Clemson didn't have 2 losses, I would be agreeing with you right about now. But the fact that Clemson's not in the mix and the entire ACC has been knocked out, I can't get on board with saying that they don't have a shot. The Big 12, I don't envision Oklahoma being there when it's all said and done. I'm just not sold on Oklahoma right now, and it's not even the defense. It's just that offensive line as far as I'm concerned with Oklahoma, it's not the defense as much as it is that offensive line. Spencer Rattler, I know you talked about him yesterday, Kev, but he's not able to be the best version of him because he's just running for his life on every play, and they're still going to throw the ball out. They're still going to be trying to make big plays. I just don't think that they're going to be there when it's all said and done. I still think Oregon slips up along the way because, well, history tells us so. That's a program that doesn't know how to sustain excellence, or at least the pressure seems to get to them. I don't think they're going to lose early, but I do believe as we get closer to the end, you're going to see an Oregon lose or an Oklahoma lose. And what happens if Oregon and Oklahoma loses? That knocks out the Pac-12 and the Big 12, and now we're talking about potentially 2 Big 10 and 2 SEC schools, or Cincinnati. I think that the window is there. If Cincinnati doesn't make it this year, it's not because of Power 5 bias. It's not because of big school bias or what have you. It's simply because Cincinnati didn't do their part. I think that they are. Kev, do you agree? If they beat Notre Dame and win out, are they a lock for the playoff?
I wouldn't say a lock. I think this would be their best chance if they obviously would have beat Notre Dame and went out. This would be, I think everybody would say, well, yeah, this is the year that you put somebody in because of how, Clemson already has 2 losses and everything like that. And you're looking at how the Big Ten is shaping out. What you want, if you're a UC fan, obviously handle your business, but what you want is you either want Penn State to win out to eliminate any talk of Ohio State or whomever's still undefeated, be it Penn State, be it Michigan, whoever's the undefeated team, let them win out so they can lock up a spot and give Ohio State that second loss. So there's no, well, they're this, that, the third. You can eliminate that. What you want to do is get all these other 2 teams with 2 losses. So they get their mulligan loss, and then they get that second one, and everybody agrees that once you get that second loss, like, all right, you're done for the playoff. So you want that to happen. You want them to beat each other up. And then obviously you're looking at this whole go down between the SEC and Bama and Georgia. If things go the way people are predicting, they're going to get both of those teams in. If it's going the way that we think it is, they're going to get 2 in. So that's 2 from one conference. So you're hoping that you don't get bumped out because they put that other team in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You don't want any other speculation out there. That's why it's so important that whomever the Big Ten representative is, they're undefeated. Because if you're on that cutting line, you're going to get cut. Because if Georgia or Alabama only has 1 loss, they're going to get in. And then the SEC winner's going to get in. So that's 2 slots. So you want to make sure that, hey, man, it's only 1 undefeated team from the Big Ten. Whomever it is, if it's Michigan, if it's Iowa, if it's Penn State, you want those other teams to have 2 losses so they're not even a topic of discussion.
Shaw says that it's Shaw says it's your argument from last year. What's my argument from last year? He says that there are too many other teams from Power 5 with the shot, too many games to be played, and UC League schedule is going to kill them. No, it's the opposite. A lot of these teams have had weak non-conferences and will have strong conference seasons, and Cincinnati has had a stronger non-conference and will have a weaker conference. But the bottom line is Cincinnati, they're not trying to earn the respect of the voters and everything. They already have it. That's why they're the number 7 team in the country. That's why they're favored to beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. Dame. Indiana's not as impressive as a win as what we thought possibly could be potentially coming in. But you beat Notre Dame, top 10 team at Notre Dame, and you go undefeated and you win your conference championship. That's what Cincinnati hasn't had the last couple of years. They haven't had wins over top 10 teams to bulk up their schedule to complement the conference championship and the undefeated record. So I disagree. I do believe that they have a shot. When you say that there's too many other teams that have a shot, I just gave you 10 of those, and a lot of those are going to cannibalize one another.
Right.
In the past, an undefeated Cincinnati team that played no top 10 teams or had no top 10 wins, that's why I was always saying, hey, their resume is not good enough. They don't even have a top 10 win. They don't have an impressive victory. That's not going to be the case. Cincinnati did what they were supposed to. They beat up on some Power 5 schools. If they beat Notre Dame on Saturday and win a conference championship undefeated, they're in. They're in. The ACC is out. I promise you the Big 12 will not have a team. Oklahoma's not winning out. They're not winning out. They will lose at some point along the way. And to Kev's point, there most likely will be 2 SEC schools in the mix. Florida, I like that addition in there. I know they have one loss. And I think that, because that one loss was a hard-fought loss against Alabama, I think that they will have time to make up some ground if that's the case on the other side. And who knows? It's going to be interesting. That I talked about Notre Dame, Cincinnati. Arkansas can create some chaos.
Yeah, and Oklahoma State. Don't sleep on Oklahoma State. They're undefeated. I know they really haven't played anybody yet, but they're undefeated. They're going up against Baylor this week, so both of those teams are undefeated. They're going to give somebody their first L. But what I desperately want, just from my own hateration, is I want Oklahoma to be undefeated when they play Oklahoma State. Oh my goodness. Go Cowboys. And I ain't talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
Oh my, dude, I would give almost anything for Oklahoma State and Oklahoma to be undefeated going into that last game of the season of Bedlam. Oh my goodness. You know what? I would have this even better. I would want Oklahoma and Oklahoma State to be undefeated going into Bedlam. Oklahoma to win, but they get the rematch in the Big 12 championship game, and Oklahoma gets them. That's what I want. I want Oklahoma State to knock them out of the college football playoff for leaving the Big 12. I'm praying to the heavens. That's what I want. That's what I want for Christmas.
Bearcats are in. And if I'm the Big 12 and you don't get anybody in, that's fine. I would take credit for the Bearcats making the playoff this year. That's what I would do if I'm you. All right, let's continue with this on the other side. When we come back, Justin Williams with The Athletic, who covers the Cincinnati Bearcats. He will tell you why David Shaw has no idea what he's talking about. He will tell you why the Bearcats have a shot to not just beat Notre Dame, but make the playoff. That's coming up next. Justin Williams with The Athletic covers the Bearcats. We'll chat with him about Notre Dame and the Bearcats this Saturday. That's next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear and sunny, a high near 80. Tonight will be mostly clear, a low near 53. And tomorrow will be clear and sunny, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is. Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A deeper connection with water can change your life, and that's what the home's first smart water network does. It turns your everyday routine into a customized experience.
Moen, fill the baby's bottle.
And it can stop a catastrophic leak with a simple Water designs our life. Who designs for water?
The water.
Moen.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City is hiring for warehouse positions in all units. Includes flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, starting wages up to $18.60, and $2,000 sign-on bonus. Candidates can apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Keyword search distribution. Location Tip City. Or call 937-669-9109. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. Walk-in interviews are available with on-the-spot job offers. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9109. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
NFL fans, the season is finally here. Get your picks submitted at wingam.com. Click on contest and enter the Pro Football Challenge. Weekly winners will win $20 in Frickers Fun Bucks. Get to wingam.com and get your NFL picks submitted now.
Touchdown! Incredible!
Good luck. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. We appreciate all you hanging out with us here. The show brought to you by Orion Sports Medicine and, of course, OGW Energy Resources. Big weekend in college football. Really excited about that. We'll talk some Ohio State coming up around the corner. We're going to talk some Bearcats here in just a few moments. Just a reminder, this Friday night, we have our Glacier Softwater High School football game of the week. The Northmont Thunderbolts on the road taking on the Wayne Warriors. I'll be out. Tim Williams and Keith Byers, a couple of Buckeyes, will team up to bring you our Glacier Softwater High School football game of the week. Tim Williams will be doing the play-by-play alongside College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers. It's our Glacier Softwater High School football game of the week this Friday night, 7 o'clock to kick off. Northmont and Wayne, Week 7 high school football action. How about that? Big week in college football, as I talked about, one of the biggest matchups in college football. Well, it's a matchup we've all been excited about. We've been talking about it a lot, even heading into this past offseason. The Cincinnati Bearcats on the road taking on Notre Dame. The number 7 Bearcats at that. Notre Dame, number 9 in the country. And that's a 2:30 p.m. kickoff. How about that? Pretty excited about that. And the Bearcats are somehow, some way, a 2-point favorite. And that's pretty interesting as we head into this matchup. But let's bring on our next guest. He covers the Bearcats for The Athletic. Justin Williams hanging out with us here. Justin, welcome in, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So a big matchup this coming up weekend. Look, Cincinnati, they've really gotten comfortable being in the spotlight. I mean, especially with everything that seems to be going right for the program. You have a program that before we get into this Notre Dame matchup, the announcement of them joining the Big 12 or will be joining the Big 12 here in the coming years. What's your feel of this program right now? I mean, they're trending in the right direction. They're number 7 in the country. They're favored over Notre Dame. They're going to be in the Big 12 here in the next couple of seasons. Just what's the feel about the program right now, going from a program that's looked at as the underdog to now being a team that's favored over Notre Dame heading into Week 4?
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously come a long way. This is Luke Fickell's 5th year as head coach, and just in that stretch, they've made incredible strides. And, you could trace that back to, ironically, Brian Kelly when he was here in the late aughts and for 3 seasons before he went to Notre Dame. He was a big part of that kind of transformation as well. But really kind of a rebuilding job Fickell did, taking over from Tommy Tuberville. And they've gotten to the point now where they've won a bunch of games, especially his last 4 seasons here. and they do feel comfortable, and they are one of the best teams in college football this season, and they're viewed as such. But even with that, even with the top 10 ranking and going to the Big 12 in a couple of years, this matchup against Notre Dame is a little bit different and really has a chance to be, a kind of a program defining win this season with what it could mean for playoff implications, but also just moving forward.
Justin, are you going to the game on Saturday?
I am. I've never been to South Bend, never covered a game there, but I'm excited to get up there and check it out.
Okay, where are you staying? Because I've tried to find Airbnb, a hotel, because I really want to go to this game too, but I can't find anything within 40 miles of this place.
Yeah, Kev's trying to split the room with you, it sounds like.
I'm totally joking about asking where you stay, but did you find it difficult trying to find a place to stay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not much of a planner, but I was at least smart enough to, this game's been on the docket for a while, so I booked quite a while in advance. But even I'm having to stay at, I'm going to butcher the name, Mishinakwa or Minishakwa or something. It's a little, town right outside of South Bend. So it's I think I was talking to one of Pete Sampson, who covers Notre Dame for us at The Athletic. He said this is the first game for Notre Dame that's sold out this season.
Wow.
So, I think part of that's probably the Cincinnati, contingent that's traveling out there, but it kind of shows you just what a high profile game this is this season.
On the field side of things, man, I know we're going to really get into the game breakdown here in a second, but there's a lot of NFL talent on the Bearcats roster, from Jerome Ford, the running back transfer from Bama, one of our local guys from Springfield, Leonard Taylor playing tight end, but probably the best nickname I've ever heard in my life, Ahmad Sauce Gardner. He's high on draft board, the cornerback. He's playing this week. What's going on? I know he was kind of in and out in the last game that they played.
Yeah, and you mentioned Lenny, so I can give a shout out to Lenny Taylor, because he's one of my favorite people to talk to on this Bearcats team. He's just a really neat kid. But you're right. I mean, that's another big change from under Luke Fickell for the Bearcats. Even when they were winning games early in his tenure, that they didn't have a half a dozen or more NFL prospects on the roster. And so that's definitely something he's built. And Sauce Gardner's right at the top of that. When he came to Cincinnati, he was Ahmad Gardner, and then he had that big pick six a couple years ago against UCF to win the game. And he was officially granted the Sauce nickname that he had kind of given himself, at least among his teammates and coaches. And, he came in 150 pounds, 6'3", just a lanky kid. And now he's up to 205, and he's built like an NFL cornerback. And he's healthy. He's ready for this matchup because, I think he realizes it's only going to help his draft stock if he plays well against a top end, elite team like Notre Dame. And it'll be interesting to see, Marcus Freeman, former Cincinnati defensive coordinator who helped recruit and coach him at Cincinnati. He's well aware of what Sauce can do. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the offensive meeting room this week saying maybe don't throw against that number one guy over there.
We have Justin Williams hanging out with us. He covers the Bearcats for The Athletic. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. And Justin, it's interesting. This matchup is huge. The Notre Dame matchup is huge for so many reasons, but I do think that the fight for the respect out in the college football playoff landscape is obviously there. And it's no secret that after Notre Dame, when you want to talk about the Bearcats in regards to with the big boys, with the Ohio States, with the Bamas, with everyone else involved in that playoff conversation, it's easy to look at what's coming after this Notre Dame game and say, oh yeah, that's not going to stack up to what Ohio State has left, to what Bama has left, to what a lot of these playoff contenders have left. This game is big for that very reason, but is this game big enough to carry Cincinnati if they go undefeated and win a conference championship? How do you view this Notre Dame game? Is this a playoff game in regards to they win out, they're in?
Yeah, I mean, look, for Cincinnati to get into the playoffs here in a couple months, they're going to need a bunch of different things to align. One of those is they needed to be good enough last year and be bringing enough back to be ranked high to start the season in the various polls. Well, that happened. They're seventh right now. I think they were eighth to start the season. So they had that part knocked out. They need big, marquee non-conference wins. They had Indiana, Notre Dame on the schedule. They won at Indiana, which right now isn't looking like maybe as good of a win as they hoped because Indiana's struggling a little bit. But Notre Dame, top 10 team on the road, beating them would kind of be something they could hang their hat on when it becomes those discussions of those big non-conference games. Then they just have to finish the season undefeated, win their conference tournament. So that would be a kind of multi-month process that they're going to have to go through. And outside of that, they need some of these big major teams in college football to fall off a little bit. So far, they're getting that. Clemson's lost 2 games. Ohio State's already lost. There's some teams out there, really, other than Bama, who kind of look mortal, who don't always look that way. So it's still going to be a process, but all of these things are going to have to happen for Cincinnati even be in the conversation. And at least for them, the most immediate thing right now is beating Notre Dame on Saturday.
I know as of right now, the Bearcats are not a Big 12 or not a Big 12 team yet. I get that. But because of the news of them joining the Big 12 in the next couple of seasons, because of that, do you believe that, again, not a Power 5 team this second, but because they are going to be joining the Big 12, how much impact do you think that has on the perception piled on top of the success of the program last year into this year? And if they beat Notre Dame, does the perception of them being a future Power 5 team help them, in your opinion, or is that just me making something out of nothing? How do you view that?
No, I mean, you say they're not a Power 5 team right now, but I guarantee you if you walk around the streets of Clifton where Cincinnati is, those fans they've already decided, it's Big 12 right now, that they don't even care about the American anymore. But I think you're right. I mean, it doesn't do anything for their schedule right now, but I don't know, it's kind of funny how, the people that are deciding this on the committee, they're humans, they're college football fans. So as much as they might not say, the fact that you're going to the Big 12 in 2 years matters, they know it and they think about it. And maybe it's just one little more, data point to kind of push them over the edge if they're looking for some reason to justify putting Cincinnati in. So I don't know how much it helps, but it certainly doesn't hurt if it comes down to that for the Bearcats.
Obviously, Desmond Ritter's been the quarterback at UC for quite some time now. He's going to have to make some big-time throws against his former DC and everything like that. Do you think he has some type of advantage going up against him every day in practice? Who do you think has the advantage, Marcus Freeman or Desmond Ritter and the offensive staff?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I mean, it's a little bit longer ago, but Mike Denbrock, who's the offensive coordinator for the Bearcats, was at Notre Dame under Brian Kelly for a long time before he came to UC. So, I mean, the connections between the two programs are pretty wild. I don't know who has the advantage in the matchup. Part of me wonders if Marcus Freeman's biggest benefit for Notre Dame is to the offense because he knows those Cincinnati defenders so well. I think, because both sides know each other so well, maybe it'll neutralize a little bit. It's certainly going to add some emotion to it. But I think you're going to see a Cincinnati side that, they're not going to hold anything back. I think a little bit this year that they've kind of kept Desmond Ritter from running the ball because they want to protect that asset. Well, that's not going to be the case on Saturday. If he has openings, he's going to run. And, Marcus Freeman knows all too well that's what scares every defensive coordinator they played against when he was there. And I guarantee you it scares him is what Ritter can do with his feet in addition to his arm. So they're going to be doing everything they can on the Notre Dame side to try and keep Des in the pocket. And I think Ritter probably knows, if I have a chance to get out and run, that's the last thing my old defensive coordinator wants to see me do.
So I know Notre Dame's playing kind of coy with this whole quarterback situation. Jack Cohn went down in that Wisconsin game and everything like that. So what are the Bearcats expecting? Are they expecting to get Cohn to be out there, or are they expecting to get the backup that, finished the game for Notre Dame last week?
Yeah, I asked Fickle about this Tuesday during his press conference, and he said, I think Notre Dame's played 2 quarterbacks in every game this season, whether it's for injury or rotation or whatever. So, they're preparing for everything. He said you have to be aware when there's a different guy in there, but you don't necessarily do anything different because of it. From everything, it seems like Jack Cohn's been practicing this week, and they claim he's going to be the starter if he's healthy. I don't think Cincinnati fans and maybe even the Cincinnati players would hate that because Cohn struggled a little bit so far this season. But, that could also be one of those be careful what you wish for type situations.
Justin, you brought up Luke Fickell. That whole storyline is fascinating to me. I know when you have a program like Cincinnati and they're having the success that they're having, and this is before the announcement of joining the Big 12, of course. But, when you see a coach having success there, it's like, okay, it's only a matter of time before he's plucked. And, possibly if the Michigan State program was in better shape at the time, maybe Fickell is not the Cincinnati head coach right now. But I am curious with the transition, happening to the Big 12, what does that do for the chances of keeping keeping Luke Fickell in Cincinnati? And did you feel that even before the announcement of the Big 12, merger there, did you feel like he was on his way out? What's your thoughts on the future of Luke Fickell in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of referenced it. This is a guy who has already turned down a bunch of power conference offers. The Michigan State was kind of the most public and notable one, but there have been others. You could probably make a pretty solid football conference out of all the jobs Luke Fickell's turned down since he came to Cincinnati. And I think there are places he would leave and go to, and those have been talked about a lot, but they're very few. And I don't know how much moving to the Big 12 changes that list of places that might be able to entice him away. What I think it does is it's going to bring in more money, more resources for the program, and that's going to allow them to keep doing things to build the program. And Luke Fickell's thing has always been, how do we keep moving the program forward? So if that's building better facilities, if that's putting more resources and money into the football program, well, now they have a chance to do that by moving to the Big 12. So I certainly think it helps give them, resources and ways to keep him in Cincinnati and keep him happy. And for the Bearcats, that's only a good thing because he's a huge, huge part of why they've gotten to this point.
All right. Justin Williams, again, covers the Cincinnati Bearcats for The Athletic. Awesome enough to hang out with us here today. Justin, send us out with this. The Bearcats are a 2-point favorite heading into their matchup with Notre Dame this Saturday afternoon. Just send us out with your thoughts on this matchup on a scale of 1 to 10. I forget the 1 to 10 question. That's a low-hanging fruit question. Just how do you feel about the Bearcats heading into this matchup with the Fighting Irish on Saturday? Is this a David versus Goliath story? I do not believe it is. People keep trying to shape it that way. I believe Cincinnati is every good as Notre Dame, if not better, obviously ranked higher. How do you view this matchup on Saturday? Is Cincinnati still being viewed as that non-Power 5 little school going up against big old Notre Dame?
Yeah, I think so. Even, regardless of what the betting lines might say, or Cincinnati's a couple spots higher in the rankings, for a lot of people, they're going to have to knock off Notre Dame to prove that they're worthy of all of that. And, honestly, I think that's fair. And coming into the season, I thought this was going to be, a matchup that Cincinnati would probably lose. Now, as we're closer to it, I think Notre Dame, outside of that fourth quarter against Wisconsin on Saturday, has been kind of underwhelming. So it's asking a lot of Cincinnati to go into South Bend, or the Irish have 25 straight home wins or something like that. Going in there and getting a win is asking a lot. But, I think just measuring up the teams, Cincinnati is as good, if not better this year. And if they can kind of keep their head about them and not let the emotions, come in and take effect, I certainly think they can come out with a win on Saturday.
All right. Justin Williams covers the Bearcats for The Athletic. Justin, thanks so much. We appreciate your time, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Later.
All right, that was Justin Williams again, covers the Bearcats. A lot of interesting stuff there. This matchup fascinates me. I don't know how to view Cincinnati, Kev. It's not that I don't know how to view them, but I've spent the last couple of years just trying to convince people, stop putting them at the adult table. Stop putting them at the adult table. But this is a much different conversation because this roster is stacked. I believe, last year I saw the top 10 ranking. I couldn't buy into it, mainly because they haven't played anybody that I feel like I could visualize them on the field with a top program. The reason I'm so locked in on if Cincinnati beats Notre Dame this week, why I believe that they are, as long as they're undefeated and conference champions, I'd say maybe a little step below a lock to make the playoff. But it's because for the first time, even during the UCF run, they didn't have the big win over a top 10 opponent during the regular season. We didn't get to see.
They had Power 5 wins, but it wasn't versus a top 10 opponent.
If it's just this Indiana win and then they go into conference play, I'm not sold. But we're going to get to see them in action on in prime time against Notre Dame, at Notre Dame, against a top 10 team. The committee, the College Football Playoff Committee, they're going to have a visual of Cincinnati matching up with them. Now you could say, well, they held their own against Georgia last year. You look at what UCF did against Auburn and everything. Yeah, but that's after the fact. It's easy to say after the fact, see, they should have been in the playoff. Look how they're matching up with Auburn. Look how the Bearcats are lining up with Georgia. That's fine, but the Georgia matchup happened after the regular season. We didn't get to see that before. You're asking the committee to just assume that they can hang with those teams, and there's just not enough in the regular season against the American Conference teams to prove that. That's why this Notre Dame game is so important. It's going to give the committee a visual of how this team stacks up against one of the top teams in the country. That's why I think it's beyond important that they win. They have to win to give themselves a shot here.
Huge opportunity for everybody involved, for the coaching staff, for Coach Fickell. Look, man, if Fickell just say he wants to leave. Say he wants to go to, USC and everything like that. He wins this game, that bag goes up. You know what I'm saying? He gets UC to the college football playoff and he has plans on leaving and going to another place. He does that. His price tag increases. Like, look what I was able to do at a non-Power 5 school. I was able to get them to the college football playoff. We talked about Jerome Ford, the running back. We talked about Lenny Taylor from Springfield. We talked about Sauce Gardner, the cornerback. These guys are on the NFL radar. This is the tape that the NFL scouts are going to watch. They're not going to watch the Miami of Ohio tape. They're not watching that tape. They'll watch the Indiana tape. But this is the first one they're going to turn on. They want to see how you go up against elite competition. And no matter how much people try to play Notre Dame like they're not elite, go check the NFL rosters. They got a ton of dudes in the NFL. Yeah, it's at the linebacker and offensive lineman position, but they're in the NFL. And they also been to the college football playoff a lot more than the other schools. So this is the tape that the NFL scouts are going to watch. So for everybody involved with the UC program, this game is huge. And yes, they want to win. And there's no doubt about it. And it's just such a huge game for them. And I'm going to be locked in at 2:30. Maybe I'll be at the game. It's a 5-hour drive. Maybe I'll just drive in for the game and drive home. I'll keep you posted. I'm considering it.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kevin Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. David Shaw says, but will this year's Notre Dame team be good enough if UC wins to get them high enough in the rankings? I don't think so. Not impressed with Notre Dame at all this year.
Who are you impressed with? Because that's so easy. Because that's like the rhetoric I always hear. I'm not impressed by them. I'm not impressed by him. Who are you impressed by? Because you look at this season, the only Oregon, we all agree that they have the best win. And then Alabama is steamrolling dudes. They had a good game against Florida. So are we rewarding Florida for keeping it close for Alabama? Who are people impressed by? That's like my question for everybody. Because you bring up any team in the country, people have something negative to say, or like, I ain't impressed by him. Who are you impressed by removing Alabama? That's what I want to know.
Every time you bring up a team for a 14 playoff, not impressed. It's the same person that also, we need 12 teams. How? You ain't impressed with anybody for a 14 playoff. How the hell are we supposed to fill out a 12-team field? We'll be back in just a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
Spilled the sauce? Quick, the Quicker Picker-Upper. Bounty picks up spills and messes quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce? Okay.
Bounty, the Quicker Picker-Upper.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers greater confidence in you. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET.
A verified approval is based on an underwriter's analysis of your individual financial information, appraisal, and title report. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
It's official. When it comes to pizza, Marion's Piazza serves the very best. In over 40 local surveys, Marion's has been voted Dayton's best pizza, and Marion's has also been ranked #1 in the nation by Pizza Today magazine. Every award-winning Marion's pizza is generously prepared with your favorite ingredients. So treat your appetite to the finest pizza around. For lunch, for dinner, or just any time, it's Marion's Pizza. Dine in or carry out at any one of Marion's 9 Dayton area locations.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with a booming voice that emphasizes all the main points. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
That part is super important.
Here's one with a booming voice.
I'm emphasizing everything.
Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance.
Like a page with every word highlighted.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers greater confidence in you. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET.
A verified approval is based on an underwriter's analysis of your individual financial information, appraisal, and title report. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Great tasting Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and nutrients to support immune health. Those who tried Ensure Max Protein reported feeling more energy in just 2 weeks. For consumer survey details, visit Ensure.com.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Frickin' football is here. Frickers has the games on all the screens and you score with savings. Enjoy your favorite ice-cold domestic draft personal pictures for only $6.50. A 48-ounce personal picture for only $6.50. And enjoy a plate of your favorite frickin' nachos for just $7. Take your frickin' pick. Frickin' chicken nachos, Mississippi barbecue nachos, or Nachos Supreme, only $7. This season, don't just be a football fan, be a Nacho fan. At the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-519-0449. That's 1-800-519-0449. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-519-0449.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
If you've got a small business, you know there's nothing more valuable than your time. So why waste it at the post office? Stamps.com makes it easy to mail and ship right from your computer. No special equipment required. Whether you're an office sending invoices, a side hustle Etsy shop, or a full-blown warehouse shipping out orders, Stamps.com will make your life easier. You'll even get exclusive discounts on postage and shipping from USPS and UPS. And their new Rate Advisor tool lets you compare shipping rates across carriers so you always find the best option. Save time and money with Stamps.com. There's no risk, and when you go to Stamps.com and use offer code FOCUS, you'll receive a 4-week free trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com. Click on the microphone at the top and enter code FOCUS. That's Stamps.com, promo code FOCUS. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.
Well, I started my own restaurant because I love to cook. But that also means a lot of greasy pots and pans. And we can't waste time with endless sink changeovers. So we upgraded to Dawn Professional Pot and Pan.
Dawn Professional cleans 58% more pots and pans per sink than the leading competitor.
Less dish soap, fewer changeovers, and more time doing what we love.
Dawn Professional. It's clean. Upgraded. From P&G Professional.
Welcome to Parent Teacher Night. Oh, yes, Miss Garner.
If you have one of those airline credit cards, you're probably not earning double miles on every purchase.
You're right. My card only gets extra miles on some types of purchases.
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere.
Wait, but where can we use them?
You can use Capital One Venture Miles on any travel purchase.
Venture gets an A+.
Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, welcome back. Hour 3. It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kevin Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. I appreciate Justin Williams, who covers the Cincinnati Bearcats for The Athletic, for hanging out with us. If you missed it, if you're a Bearcats fan, college football fan in general, and want to go check out the latest as they head into the matchup with Notre Dame on Saturday, you can, of course, download and subscribe the Justin Kenner Show podcast in your Apple iTunes and Google Play Store. That's where you'll be able to check out the interview, as well as our conversation yesterday with ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz. That is all available in the Justin Kenner Show podcast in your Apple iTunes and Google Play Store. So make sure you go and check that out. Plus, visit wingam.com. So, yeah, big one again, Bearcats, Notre Dame. And this matchup just fascinates me because it really all comes down to the perception of Cincinnati heading into this. And Cincinnati has a lot to prove because right now it's easy. What I love that happens every year is, you have a team like Cincinnati or UCF who they dominate their weaker conference all regular season. They don't play anyone of significance even in the non-conference, or if they do, they lose to them. Like, it's not like Cincinnati did anything different this year with scheduling. They have scheduled tough in years past. A couple years ago, they did play Ohio State, and they got shut out by Ohio State. They didn't just lose to a top team in the country. They got shut out, and that type of loss, like, you love that opportunity to play against an Ohio State, but then you also hope that when you're not just playing them as a way to make money for your program, you're playing them to try to prove to the world and to the country that you are just as good as the Buckeyes or within that same category, and then you get shut out. It gives guys like me ammo to say, yeah, they're not the real deal. Now, they got shut out by Ohio State that year. They won the rest of their games. People were screaming and hollering, they should be in the playoff conversation. And I'm like, no, the teams that you're arguing that they should get into the dance with, they played one and got shut out. That's what I can't get out of my head. They have a chance to play Notre, and then they'll play a good team in the bowl game, and then they'll hang with them. And then everyone's like, see, that team deserved to be in the playoff. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to do it when it counts. And that's in the regular season, unfortunately. That's where I'm at with this. That win against Georgia, or that game against Georgia last year, they went blow for blow with one of the top teams in the country. Georgia was a fringe playoff team that had the resume to be in the conversation, of course. Georgia won, but everyone felt like they were watching a Bearcat team that was right up there with one of the top teams in the country. They don't always have that opportunity. They have it with Notre Dame. It's important that they take care of business on Saturday because they got to shut guys like me up. And the one thing I said, the College Football Playoff Committee, when they've played big teams in the past, it hasn't gone well. And the only thing the committee sees is, oh, yeah, well, when they did play Ohio State, they got shut out. They have an opportunity now to put actual game footage in front of a committee against a top 10 team and say, we're undefeated. We beat a Power 5 team in Indiana. We beat a Power 5 team, or a top team in Notre Dame. Yes, we went undefeated in our weaker conference, but we went undefeated and we won a conference championship. I think that this is the biggest opportunity that UCF for Cincinnati has had. They have to take care of business, and for some way, they're favored. They are favored over Notre Dame, and that's huge.
And UC's playing by different rules than other opponents, even in their own conference, or your MAC opponents. Like we saw with Kent State playing Ohio State last week. That's a paycheck game. This isn't when UC plays your Notre Dames, Ohio States, they've played Auburn in the past and everything like that. They're not necessarily paycheck games. I'm sure the check is great for the program and everything like that, but there is a twofold situation. It isn't the situation where like, all right, man, we just going in there and play some good ball and get our athletic program paid for the entire year. They're trying to get the athletic program paid for, and they're trying to make a statement. They're trying to be up there with the big dogs. So it's like you said, man, this is an ample opportunity. And no matter what anybody says, your past performance is going to linger. There's no doubt about it that shutout loss that they had to Ohio State hung over their head, just like when Ohio State was blown out in those back-to-back BCS championship games. That hung over our head. They hung that over our head, saying, well, last time you were in the championship game, you got blew out by Florida. We gave you another chance and you got blew out by LSU. Well, watch, you should get another chance. Like, that type of stuff lingers over time, and it's just like the opposite. When you go into a situation in a big game and you perform well and you get that win, that gives you brownie points for years to come. You know what I'm saying? We saw it with Ohio State, where the college football playoff, we beat Alabama. Then we went on to beat Oregon for the national championship. You can't tell me that didn't give Ohio State a little bit of the rub when they got into the college football playoff over Penn State, who beat Ohio State. So it's twofold. When you have these ample opportunities, you must capitalize, not only for the current team, but for the teams in the future, because they're going to get that rub because of what the team before them did, even though half these dudes that's on this team going to be in the NFL the next time they get an ample opportunity to make this run. So it's so huge, man. It's so huge for so many different reasons for UC. And I hope to goodness, man, they get this dub.
Yeah, it's going to really make for an interesting rest of the season. That is for sure. So Lamar Shelley on Facebook, Kev, says, so Ohio State can lose early and get in, but Cincinnati can't.
Correct.
Exactly. It's
correct.
I
don't like it. I don't necessarily like it, but that's the world we live in. That's the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is the UC schedule isn't as tough as Ohio State's, and especially this year. You look at Ohio State's schedule the rest of the year. Penn State, that team up north is on the schedule. Maryland's on the schedule. They got a big matchup on Friday night versus Iowa. Both teams coming in that matchup 4-0. So, I mean, yeah. That's we're not breaking any news to anybody. Like, it's been like this. It's been like this since college football started monetizing things, man. When you're not playing in one of these Power 5 leagues, you're going to be shunned, for lack of a better word.
It's not even about the monetization of it. It's mainly just about common sense when it comes to the level of competition that you play on a week in, week out basis for Cincinnati versus what Ohio State and Alabama and Power 5 teams have to face on a week in, week out basis. Look, Cincinnati has a shot, but their margin for error is slimmer.
Oh, very.
That's really what it comes down to. So to answer Lamar's question, yes, it's Ohio State has a much larger margin for error. They can afford a loss. That's been proved, not just Ohio State, but most of those upper tier Power 5 programs. The Bearcats, their margin for error is it's below slim, because not only do they have to beat Notre Dame and go undefeated to get in, you can argue that if Cincinnati has any game coming up that they only win by a field goal, that can eliminate them. I know that sounds stupid, but like, if they don't dominate, like, they have to convince the committee that not only are like, you can't lump us in with the rest of these non-Power 5 schools. You have to go and convince the committee that, yes, we may be in this conference with these other non-powers. However, look at the scores. Like Urban Meyer talked about that in the past, where this is set up the eye test. The eye test is a dangerous thing because you're opening up the door for a lot more injuries. And it's kind of dangerous because in a game that is already in the books in the first half, you have to keep your starters out in the third and fourth quarter if you're Cincinnati, because you can't just beat a team by 21. All right. Or Ryan Day, you had weirdos like Mikey who wanted Ryan Day out of there because you only beat not Tulane. Who the hell was it? Tulsa. You had yahoos like Mikey who wanted Ryan Day out at Ohio State because they only won by 21 against Tulsa. So yes, that's where we're at right now. You can't just beat the rest of the teams in the American Conference if you're the Bearcats. You have to demolish them. That is the only way that they are going to get in. So Lamar, like Ohio State, they can lose. They lost to the number 3 team in the country. They can make up for that by beating Penn State. They can make up for that by beating Michigan and Michigan State and possibly Iowa in the Big Ten title game. To answer your question, Yes. Simple. Yes. As far as
this Notre Dame game's huge. Then they got Temple. Then they got UCF. But UCF, their starting quarterback's out for the season. He's got a broken collarbone. Dylan Gabriel. He's done for the season. So you're going to get a backup in that situation. You got Navy. Now, obviously, everybody, Navy, whatever. But, Navy's always one of those teams like that you have a difficult time with because they run the option. And knock on wood, nobody on your defensive line gets chop blocked and hurt for the season. And then it's so much goes in that. Then you go down to Tulane, who played Oklahoma tough. And then you go to Tulsa, who played Ohio State tough. Then South Florida. And then the big one, the other big game for me on their schedule currently is SMU. SMU throws the ball all over the lot. And obviously the best part about UC's team is their defense. So you're expecting to get a victory there, but nothing.
Shaw said Navy's down, so don't worry.
Well, they still run the option and they chop block,
but they're down.
So, hey, man, I know. I mean, all I know is when Ohio State used to schedule Navy year after year for some godly reason,
America.
We would always see one of our best defensive linemen on the ground holding their knee because they got chop blocked, and everybody be losing their mind. They have no choice but to play them because they're in their conference, but it's just like, that's the thing. And if I'm thinking about all this stuff, people on the team are thinking about that, but it's Coach Fickle's responsibility to lock them in for this game. They can't look ahead. They can only look to Saturday at 2:30 at Notre Dame. Will Kev Nash be there? Stay tuned to my Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, you've changed your mind like 80 times throughout these last couple hours. My goodness. All right, 518-1410.
I'll go by myself.
518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. So Chip Kelly, it was interesting. Not Chip Kelly. Brian Kelly was interviewed in a press conference, was asked about why he chose to put Cincinnati on the schedule. I mean, a lot of times you see every time you would think that a lot of times when a coach has success at a smaller school, that when they move on, especially when you leave them at the altar the way Kelly did, literally, it's one of those things where I have no clue why you don't see it more, where coaches that leave smaller programs to go do bigger things, why you wouldn't kind of return a favor a little bit, kind of, say, hey, it's tough for schedules, it's tough for games and stuff. We want to give you that opportunity and all that. Well, Kelly was asked, and 518-1410, by the way, that's the number to call in. But Kelly was asked about that, Kev. And the phones or whatever, we'll get to the calls here in just a second. But Kelly was asked about that. And in his response, I found it very interesting. Coach Kelly says that he wanted the opportunity to give back to the school that gave him an opportunity to play Notre Dame. And Cincinnati fans are offended by this. They're bothered by it. Not a big fan of Kelly, but what Kelly is doing is actually, I wish more former coaches would do that. From a college basketball perspective, Archie Miller, who's unemployed at the moment, but I was like, hey, if you're Indiana, why not? Why not play the Dayton Flyers? Well, it doesn't matter because he's out of a job, but you just don't see that. You don't see schools, you don't see coaches who leave smaller schools, take big jobs and then return the favor. At least I don't think you do. You don't see it often. I can't think of many examples out there. So he says this, and it sounds like a backhanded compliment to Bearcat fans. I have no problem with it. He's being honest. Hey, I want to get, the Bearcats are struggling to get some big opponents on their schedule. I wanted to give them an opportunity because they gave me an opportunity. I have no problem with it. Bearcats fans are super offended by it. It's like he's doing this little buddy, here you go. I'll throw you a bone. You could play the Irish. Here you go. How do you, perceive that? I have no problem with what Kelly said. I listened to it throughout during the break. There was no condescending tone or anything like that. But again, it's that the Bearcats are trying to put themselves at the adult table, and you just don't say that about that. Notre Dame doesn't say that about Ohio State. Notre Dame, Kelly doesn't say, well, look, the Buckeyes are a good program. I just wanted to give them the opportunity to play Notre Dame. Buckeye fans would rip him for that. But that's because it's the Buckeyes. With all due respect to the Bearcats, who I'm pulling for right now, I don't think that the fans have the right to be upset with that comment by Kelly. I had no issue with it whatsoever. He was being honest. Yes, wanted to give them an opportunity because it does take Notre Dame giving the Bearcats an opportunity. Otherwise, the Bearcats would have bigger names on their schedule every single year, and it's tough to do when you're a team like the Bearcats who are knocking on everyone's door.
For me, I don't view it as a backhanded compliment. I just view it as, what took you so long? You've been there 11 years, and now you deem it time to give the UC Bearcats a shot. at the big dogs in Notre Dame. Like, that's how I view it. Like, he's been there 11 years. But, I know the whole scheduling thing is very difficult. Yeah, over and over and over and over again, and everything like that. They have their traditional rivals that they got to play. They got to play your USCs. They got to play their ACC schedule and everything like that. But 11 years, like, that's, if I'm a UC player or fan or anything like that, that's how I'm feeling. Like, well, what took you so long? But you know what? Ultimately, you put us on the schedule. You might have put us on the schedule at the wrong time. Maybe you should have put us on the schedule back when Tommy Tuberville was there, stinking up the joint. Maybe they got an opportunity to get this dub. So whatever reason you're on the schedule now, UC, take advantage of it. It don't matter why they put you on the schedule. It don't matter how long it took them to put you on the schedule. The fact is, you're on the schedule now, and you have a real good football team, and you have an ample opportunity to go make some noise. So go do it.
See, we can play him and they won't play him, and then they play him, and then Kev over here, well, what took so long? Come on, Kev. Now, I was trying to look up, I don't know when that contract was, 2019, so 2 years ago. So that's when it was announced that they would play. So that's interesting. So 2019 is when it was announced. That's what I give Kelly credit for, is that it's not a bad Bearcats team. And that's what I give him credit for. I mean, a lot of, like, they're playing Central Michigan. I don't think that Kelly's worried about his old school Central Michigan giving him a lot. He's nervous about this Bearcat team, though. And there you go.
Yeah, Antonio Brown ain't walking through that door.
518-1410. Kev, who's on line 3?
Two. We got Nick on line 2.
Nick, how are you, sir? Welcome in.
Hey, what's up, man?
Thanks for being patient, man. Appreciate it.
It's all good. I'm going to change gears a bit. The other day, you were talking about your Abby Wambach haircut-esque. I called in. I didn't go on the air, and I told Kev.
Wait, was that you?
That was me, yeah.
Well, you're the one that said you don't like me, my show, or my whatever haircut?
No, man, I wasn't that guy. But I called in. I couldn't talk. I couldn't wait. But I told Kev, if the Bengals beat the Browns, you should dye your hair purple. But I was thinking about it. This is what I wanted to offer you. If the Bengals sweep the Browns, you should dye your hair purple.
Ooh.
If the Bengals beat the Browns the first go around, you should eat your words. You should print out the last 5 either Facebook posts or tweets that are Bengal hating tweets and eat them on the air.
Well, real quick, fine. I will eat. If you could find a tweet that I'm hating, and the definition of hating is saying things that aren't true about a team, I will do that. But nothing I have said is not true about the Cincinnati Bengals.
They make edible paper,
Yeah, and I'm not the weirdo in 7th grade in the back of class eating paper, so I'm not going to agree to that one. No. I'll do if the Bengals beat the Browns just once, I will do the purple hair thing. That's how confident I am that the Bengals aren't beating the Browns. I will color my hair purple if the Bengals beat the Browns just once, and it's not happening.
Okay.
All right. Now people are probably wondering what the hell's going on. So some Bengals fan went off on me like earlier in the week about, I don't like you, I don't like your show, and I don't like your Megan Rapinoe haircut. Now, I wanted to be offended. I wanted to be angry. What?
It was Megan Rapinoe.
Yeah,
I said Abby Wambach.
Yeah, that's why couldn't figure out what you were saying. But I wanted to be angry, but it was such a good burn that I'm like, and I get mad at when people when they make fun of my height. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been 5'5" my whole life. You think I haven't heard that I'm short before? You think you're breaking news? When people make fun of me for being fat, you think I haven't been told I'm fat since I was a little kid? Like, that stuff don't bother me. That Megan Rapinoe joke was absolutely classic, and I was proud of that individual. I was really proud of him. So yes, but my hair's not purple.
Listen, man, I listened to you for a long time before I started watching your guys' feed.
Uh-huh.
And dude, you are way too hard on yourself about your weight, bro.
Now I've lost 40 pounds. I'm very happy about my weight.
Make yourself out to be. Okay. Because you sound pretty hard on yourself about your weight. When I saw you, I was like, what is he talking about, man?
Now listen,
you're really
no,
not.
I was like 240 pounds or whatever, earlier in the year. I'm down like 40 plus pounds. So I feel great about that.
Well,
And I'm still going to,
man.
but my hair's not purple like Megan Rapinoe. So that's why he, of course, said, so if I'm so confident that the Bengals have 2 more losses guaranteed on their schedule, both being the Browns at least. I'll make that bet. My hair will be purple if the Bengals beat the Browns at all, which I do not anticipate happening. That's how confident I am.
Well, and if they don't, then every Bengals fan that tunes in is going to have to hear about it.
1,000 sheets of edible paper on Amazon.com.
I'm not eating paper. I'm not the weirdo in middle school that's sitting in the back of class just chewing on paper, man. That's weird.
It's edible.
Hearing you gloat after the Bengals lose to the Browns is a fate worse than death. I'm telling you. Hey, thank you guys.
Adios, man. All right. You guys complain because I never accept a bet, but I'm not even worried about it. I'm not worried about it. The Bengals aren't beating the Browns at any point. Period.
Buy the edible paper.
I'm not doing the paper thing. I told you.
It's edible.
There's a lot of things that are edible. I mean, everything's edible, technically. You can eat whatever the hell you want.
No, it says 1,000 sheets of candy edible paper. $10.
Or I could just eat candy. I'm not going to eat paper.
Anything on Amazon.
Edible paper, huh? Like, who thinks like, oh man, you know what the world really needs? Edible paper.
Edible rice paper. See? Healthy.
Edible rice. Right. I mean, go green. Go Browns.
That's today. Never mind.
Jake, Ron Mullins, he's enjoying it. Jake says, LMFAO. You could connect those dots. Just a reminder, David Shaw said that Navy is way down this year, as opposed to the powerhouse that Navy actually. I mean, great take, Shaw. I appreciate that. Making me laugh. That's all that matters. But what?
Shaw's on the line right now.
Okay, Shaw. How are you, sir? I was just talking smack about you, and I'm glad I get to talk smack to you on the phone. Welcome.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you with all this? I don't know how you even have free time to call in with all the dissecting Navy and all.
You've got to be kidding me.
Navy insider David Shaw hanging out with us here today on the Justin Kinner Show.
Make-believe TV radio host Justin Kinner talking on the radio once again.
See, the Megan Rapinoe comeback, that was good from that caller the other day. That was horrible. You could do better than that.
Anyhow, on to more important things.
Navy. How's Army doing?
They're undefeated. That's how they're doing.
That's great.
Anyways, on to more important things.
All right, get to it.
There's too many teams that are going to knock UC out of this. I don't care what they do this weekend. I mean, obviously, if they lose, they're already out. But if they beat Notre Dame, it's too early. It's your argument from last year.
What's my argument from last year? I can't remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. What was my argument from last year?
That their conference is too weak, and once they get into conference schedule, that it's going to knock them out.
No, the argument last year was they had no non-conference schedule. They didn't have any non-conference wins of note, no worthy wins of note, and that the conference wasn't good enough for them to hang their hat on that and that alone. That's not the case this year. Plus, they're not trying to move up the rankings. They're already a top 10 team. I just think this is not the same scenario as last year.
And you just made my point earlier in the show when you said if they struggle against a team, they're going to fall. They'll fall down.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to beat everybody on their schedule by 14, 17 plus. No, they won't.
How do you
know?
They're
going to struggle against somebody.
Are you a fortune teller? You're looking in your crystal ball and you can see that the Bears.
So you're telling me they're not. You're telling me they're going to beat everybody on their schedule by 21 plus after Notre Dame.
Well, I have it on good authority that Navy's down this year, so I know that they're good against them.
Okay, that's one.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to struggle They're not going to struggle at all this year once they beat Notre Dame.
I can't promise you that they won't, but you can't promise me that they will. So it's just we're living in a world of hypotheticals here, man.
Football.
Huh?
It's football. It's football.
Oh, is that what we're talking about? We're not talking about the top 25 volleyball programs? Oh, man, I'm so confused. Hold on. Let me change here's my football notes. That's what had me. Oh, yep, here it is. Navy down this year. Yep, now we're on the same page. Okay, we're good.
So the only team in this country is Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, and Georgia, right?
I never said that, but okay.
No, it's the way you make it sound every single season.
That's usually because that's the way it is every single season.
And that's why the playoff is going to go to 12 teams, because of people like you.
Because of people like me? No, I mean, like Ohio State already has a loss. Clemson, they're already knocked out. Well, you're cranky today, man. Like, I mean,
no, that's you. You said you were going to fight with me an hour and a half ago.
I never said I was going to fight with you, but you are sensitive today. My goodness, are you a Bengals fan deep down? What's going on with you?
I hope to see you in purple hair.
That's like a weird thing to say, but okay.
You know why I said it from the caller before.
Right. Anyhow.
So Penn State and Iowa play next week. So that's one team's going.
Okay.
One of those.
Iowa got Maryland on tomorrow. Oh, Maryland got Iowa Friday at 8:00. Both teams undefeated, locked in for that.
Right. And then if Iowa loses that one, so they're definitely going to be out after they lose to Penn State next week.
But what's your point about that? I even said when I started that college football conversation, I said that as of right now, here's the 10 teams I have that have realistic opportunities to make the college football playoff. And every week I'll update that. Next week, you're right. I mean, Notre Dame is part of my 10 teams that I have on that list. If they lose to Cincinnati, I'm bumping them off. If Cincinnati loses to Notre Dame, I'm bumping them off. I mean, yeah, that list is going to grow and shrink as the season goes on. But as of right now, it looks like the window is that's where it's heading. But things can change. Things will change. No one would have thought 2 weeks ago that we'd be talking about Arkansas as a team that's in the conversation for the playoff. But as of right now, it looks like they could potentially trend that way. They have an opportunity against Georgia this weekend.
You'll be talking even more about Arkansas next week.
You calling it? You calling Arkansas with the victory over Georgia?
He has that ball in front of him.
I'll call it right now.
Put it on wax.
What do you want me to put it on?
Score prediction. I'm sorry, I got too slang for you. Put it on wax. Just give me your score.
I got you.
Keep that at Hot 102.9, Kev.
Shaw, we got to go. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. No, we'll be nope, going to break. You're going to get me in trouble. There we go. We'll be back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Musical notes in the chat.
By the way, I found out that...
No, microphones in the chat. Put microphones in the chat.
So the other day, I was saying that, who's the Pope? He misspelled the F word. You said, nah, he didn't. I found out, no, he spelled it right. He spelled it right. You can't have the C and the K.
Two C's.
Yep.
That's how the young kids do.
There we go. We'll be back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Hi, folks. It's me again to let you know that we've just unloaded a semi-load of fresh new landscape plants of all types. We have nice dwarf Alberta spruce, Mugo pines, taxus, pyramid arborvitae for privacy hedge, lots of nice boxwoods, magnolias, white pines, dwarf blue spruce, topiary shrubs, fat Albert blue spruce, and dwarf Japanese red maples, and dozens of other varieties of shrubs. We also have thousands of shade trees, flowering trees, and fruit trees, and weeping trees. One of the most popular trees is the Cleveland Select flowering pear, which blooms in the spring with nice white blossoms. Every yard should have one. Our 6-acre garden center at 1309 Brand Pike is Dayton's biggest, and we've been in business since 1963. Come out and see why.
Great tasting Ensure protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and nutrients to support immune health. Those who tried Ensure protein reported feeling more energy in just 2 weeks. For consumer survey details, visit Ensure.com.
Got a project to do? Use the right equipment and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. With over 50 years experience, Arts has the best selection, delivery, and service, plus 15 Arts locations. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Hello, everyone. It's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Call me today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Hi, I'm Sales Manager Jason High at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, proud recipient of the prestigious President's Award. We are your local Honda dealer, and we invite you to see our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility. You'll be amazed at our selection, and remember, all new Hondas come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us at Route 35, just east of 675, conveniently located near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I'll see you soon.
Gathering your family around the dinner table for a home-style meal from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken is the perfect way to end a fall day. Lee's Homestyle happens here with our 12-piece family meal for only $32.99. You'll get 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen Famous Recipe Chicken that's honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and pressure-cooked to perfection, served up with 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy with Lee's 12-piece family meal for only $32.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Contractors, use the right equipment for your project and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. No storage, no maintenance, no hassle. 15 Arts locations and online at artsrental.com. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Don't go it alone in your job search. It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Find the location near you at expresspros.com. No fees for job seekers. expresspros.com.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear and sunny, a high near 80. Tonight will be mostly clear, a low near 53. And tomorrow will be clear and sunny, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces at your home, office, or commercial property. Introducing infrared patching, a new technology for your property. This service and more at culletsealcoating.com.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Not to be dramatic, but I'm obsessed with how much I just saved at Kohl's. I got 25% off Nike clothes for the kids, the cutest $39.99 flex hoodie for me, and got great Columbia gear for all our outdoor adventures. Did I mention the extra 20% off and the Kohl's cash I got? So yeah, not sure what I love more, fall deals or fall weather. Select styles, 20% offer ends October 3rd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
I'm Serena Williams. You watch me live on TV. So why am I in a British drama you watch on demand?
Fancy a dance, my lady?
Sure. It's because DirecTV Stream brings the best of live TV and on demand together.
Oh, you're quite the dancer.
Mr. Jeffries, you're making me blush.
Oh.
Introducing DirecTV Stream, the best of live TV and on demand with no annual contract. Get your TV together at directtv.com.
Requires high-speed internet and compatible device. Content varies by package location. Restrictions apply.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
See Columbus Equipment Company, 7570 New Carlisle Pike in Dayton.
Home delivery becoming a bit boring? Then isn't it time to visit one of Marion's Piazza's 9 Dayton area locations for some award-winning pizza? Marion's has been delivering the taste, the quality, and the value for over 50 years. So it comes as no surprise that Marion's Pizza has been voted Dayton's best pizza in over 40 local surveys and ranks #1 in the nation by Pizza Today magazine. Next time, why not come in for the pizza that really delivers? A Marion's Pizza. After all, we at Marion's believe that quality speaks for itself.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City is hiring for warehouse positions in all units. Includes flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, starting wages up to $18.60, and $2,000 sign-on bonus. Candidates can apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Keyword search distribution. Location Tip City. Or call 937-669-9109. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. Walk-in interviews are available with on-the-spot job offers. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9109. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
Homeowners and business owners, listen up. It's time to go solar. Go solar with OGW Energy Resources. OGW Energy Resources has been providing service to the Miami Valley for over 14 years. Find out how going solar can save you money for your home or your business. Check out OGWEnergyResources.com to learn more. Discover the OGW difference today. OGW Energy Resources, your energy, your future, control it.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
Great tasting Ensure-Max protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and nutrients to support immune health. Those who tried Ensure-Max protein reported feeling more energy in just 2 weeks. For consumer survey details, visit Ensure.com.
Don't miss the ESPN Dayton Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week every Friday night, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will have the call all season long. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and to stream the games live.
So Tim Williams, former Buckeye, and former Buckeye Keith Byers, they will both be on the call. Excuse me. They will both be on the call this Friday night at Wayne for Wayne and Northmont for our Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week. So that's a kickoff at 7 o'clock. That's when coverage will begin. Of course, they'll be taking over right at 7 o'clock. So make sure you tune in again to our Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week. Already week 7.
Wow.
Northmont and Wayne. It's I can't believe how fast this season is going. College basketball practices have started.
Mm-hmm.
First game, I think, for UD's in like 40 days or something like that. It's October.
How's your high school? How's your high school doing in football this year?
I think they've only lost once. I think they're one of the top teams in the state, like the old Cougars.
My high school lost their first game last week. I was watching on YouTube. They put all the games on YouTube. So we're watching it. Shayla looking at me like I'm going crazy because we hadn't had a close game all season. We've been blowing teams out by like 50 all year. We end up losing by 1 point. 1 point. Ask me how many extra points our kicker missed.
How many did they miss?
4.
So they technically won by a field goal. Kinda. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
All I was thinking was like, go to the soccer team. Go somewhere. Go to the girls' soccer team. Somebody has to be able to kick an extra point, man. Please.
Something. So
Four. No disrespect to the young man. It's harder. I can't kick it all either, but
that's why you go for 2.
They had to. They had to start going for 2.
Yeah, but you missed 4 before you decided to
exactly
to go for 2. That does. I mean, that's like letting Shaq go to the free throw line in crunch time 4 straight games before saying, you know what, maybe we should have someone else in the game towards the end. Just saying. So earlier, we announced this earlier, update for the Bengals and the Jaguars game tomorrow. But significant, no Jesse Bates tomorrow for the Cincinnati Bengals. He is ruled out. So I find that to be interesting, of course, as that, when that chart came out earlier, it kind of surprised me a bit to see no Bates for tomorrow. He hasn't missed a game, so that's going to be interesting to see how that happens. Like if there's going to be a game where you're without some of your top guys, this is the game to do it. They're going to be shorthanded in the secondary on Thursday night against Jacksonville. Bates will miss his first game in 4 years, Kev.
Wow.
No Awuzie, who's on the doubtful. He's listed as doubtful. And then Suafilo, of course, is out too. So that most likely leads to Jackson Carman being out as well. So the guys that are out, Jesse Bates, and then no T. Higgins. But no T. Higgins, no problem, because Jamar Chase living up to that number 5 billing. So look, people are like waiting for me to say that I was wrong about Jamar Chase, and I will never say I was wrong about Jamar Chase, because for me to say I was wrong about Jamar Chase would mean that I had said that he wasn't a good receiver, and I never said he wasn't a good receiver. I just said that was not the need that they needed to prioritize at the time. But dude, like, we're not just talking him being the number 1 rookie in this year's draft. Like, 3 games in, the number 1 target for Joe Burrow has been him. Like, they have picked up right where they left off at LSU. And that's been, fun to watch. But again, as I've said before, the Steelers game should anger Bengals fans as well. And here's why. Because I've been preaching the importance of why it's so important to protect Joe Burrow. And I'm not expecting a team to ever go an entire season without giving up a sack by any means. But, like, look how good Burrow looked against Pittsburgh. Look how good Jamar Chase and the offense looked against Pittsburgh. And why do you think that? Because he had time to throw. He wasn't running for his life. He was stepping up in the pocket. And, people want to talk about, last year when I was bringing up, Joe Burrow, he's not very good at the deep ball. Well, he didn't have time for the deep ball. He doesn't have time to drop back and wait for Jamar Chase to create. Well, they didn't have Jamar Chase last year, but he didn't have time. So that Steelers game, if anything, it just continues proving my point, not hurting my point. It proves my point, why it's so important to protect him, because when the dude has time to throw, look out. And we saw that. And a good offensive line, it doesn't just make Burrow better. It's definitely going to make Jamar Chase better. It's definitely going to make T. Higgins and I almost said Jarvis Landry. What the hell? And Tyler Boyd better. It's going to make, Joe Mixon better. The whole team, top to bottom, is significantly better. Like I said, I don't think that Cincinnati's not as good as what they were against Pittsburgh, but I don't think they are as poor as what they were against Chicago either. I think they're somewhere in the middle. But we talked about this yesterday to a certain extent. You look at the schedule and how it's shaken up for the Bengals right now. I mean, they're good. They're a 7.5-point favorite tomorrow night against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, they're without Jesse Bates. So Awuzie listed as questionable. Trey Waynes should make his debut for the Bengals tomorrow. So there's that. They should win. Like, this isn't one of those like, oh man, it's going to be a barn burner. Like the Cincinnati Bengals, based on what we saw against Pittsburgh, they beat, an in-between Minnesota team. This should not be close. This should not be a game that the Bengals need 4 quarters to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The defense is improved. You have a great pass rush now. Okay, the pass rush is there. Your secondary is solid. I know you don't have Bates and Awuzie's questionable. Awuzie, I don't really care about Awuzie. I watched him in Dallas. I mean, I don't think it's that big a loss if he's not out on the field tomorrow, to be quite honest with you. But Trevor Lawrence, 7 interceptions on the season.
Mm-hmm.
The dude is completing a lot of his passes to the other team. So that's where Cincinnati, I really think, is going to put even more pressure on Trevor Lawrence, because that pass rush, I mean, it's very similar to what we saw against, the Cardinals over the weekend. The Cardinals put pressure on him, and he started throwing off that back foot. He started doing things that were out of his character, and he ended up making a lot of mistakes. That's what the Cincinnati Bengals are going to have to rely on against Trevor Lawrence. I know you want Bates out there, but I don't think Bates being out is as significant as people believe. Trevor Lawrence is going to turn it over. And it's going to be up to the Bengals to make that happen tomorrow night as well. They're going to be 3-1. And
that'll be.
I said I need a month of games before I make a true evaluation of a team in regards to designating whether they are good or bad. Some teams are new in regards to how they're constructed, so it's kind of hard to get a good feel for who they are this season. Other teams have a lot of the same problems as last year or the same strengths as last year. The Browns, I don't need to see a full 4 weeks of games to know who they are. They're the same team as last year. They look the same as last year. They're right up there with the Chiefs and the top teams in football, and they're taking care of the bad teams on their schedule. Like the Browns aren't different. They didn't add anyone of significance to the offense for us to sit here and say, oh man, I need to see that first. We know who the Browns are. All right. The Bengals, I need to see that offensive line more. I think it was a fluke against Pittsburgh, to be honest. If they would have held him to 0 sacks and they would have had Watt and they would have had their guys on the outside, if they would have had everybody, then I would be impressed. That's not the Bengals' fault that those guys weren't there, but to sit there and say it's a non-factor, that's not true at all. But build on it. Build on it. And they protect him against Jacksonville, then I will have no choice but to say, yeah, you know what? That offensive line is vastly improved. But I'm not willing to say that because heading into week 3, he was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Even without being touched in week 3, he's still the 3rd most touched quarterback in the NFL. So 3-1 to start. It's kind of hard to argue how that's not impressive. 2-1 is impressive considering they've only won 6 games in the last 2 years combined to begin with, but definitely impressed if they can start off the season 3-1, especially the 1 month in. That's all you can that's all you can ask for at this point. So there you go.
I know you're steadfast on not saying you were wrong about Jamar Chase, but what if the offensive lineman out of Clemson / Cincinnati, Fairfield, Ohio, Jackson Carman, what if he actually pans out to be a very good offensive lineman his rookie season? Will you admit you're wrong over that?
No, because the Bengals, they don't have, they're not good talent evaluators. It's not like if I go to the casino and I play blackjack and I come away and I'm plus $2,000 when I leave, and then I go back the next day and I'm plus $4,000 when I leave. Is anyone going to say, man, Justin, you're a hell of a gambler. You're a good gambler? No. It just means I'm on a lucky streak. It means I got lucky.
Got hot.
So what I mean by that is I'm using the gambling reference here is if Jackson Carman pans out, it's not because of great talent evaluation. It's because you gambled and you're lucky it panned out. And that's what the Bengals did. They were, rolling 6s all off season, Kev. They were, they were blowing on their hands, rolling the dice, and everything was rolling their way, at least in their eyes. They were gambling. Is it paying off? Jamar Chase, 4 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks of the season. It appears that it's paying off, but it's not paying off because here's why. You gambled the future of your quarterback for him. That's the problem I have. You gambled the future of your quarterback for Jackson Carman. Was getting Jackson Carman so important that you risked the health of your franchise quarterback? Was getting a wide receiver that, by the way, every team has wide receivers now. It's not hard to go out and find receivers. To me, bad teams. Look at the bad teams in the NFL, Kev. They have good wide receivers. The Steelers aren't very good. They have wide receivers. Wide receivers are easy to go find for the teams that know how to evaluate, of course, which I could see why you got desperate to take a wide receiver at number 5. But the Bengals have always been an organization that have always hung their hat on their elite wide receivers. That has never been in doubt. That's something that's kind of that's what they're known for, especially in my lifetime, always having that elite wide receiver.
It goes all the way back like Carl Pickens days. Mm-hmm. There's always had a good wide receiver core in Cincinnati. So yeah, I can dig that.
So there you go. Lamar Shelley, too biased of an assessment for the Browns. We don't know who they are yet. You know exactly who they are. It's really not. If you don't know who they are, it means you don't know football and you're not paying attention. If you don't know who the Browns are at this point, if you don't know that they are a dominant run team, a dominant offensive line, a very, very good quarterback, capable wide receivers, the NFL Coach of the Year. If you want to say that I don't know who they are defensively yet, I can get on board with that.
On paper.
But watch that Bears game. You're going to talk smack. Oh, it's the Bears. It's the Bears. You mean the Bears team that beat you the previous week? Okay, just want to make sure we're all on the same page. But no, Kev. So to your point, I'm not going to give them credit for still risking the future of Joe Burrow to get an elite wide receiver with the number 5 pick, which is why I said if you drafted Penei Sewell and he flamed out, it's easier to forgive the Bengals for him flaming out because at least they were saying, hey, What's unfortunate, it didn't work out, but we had to give ourselves the best chance possible to protect Joe Burrow. That's why we selected Penei Sewell. Even if it didn't work out, you could at least try to convince the public, hey, we were giving it our best to protect him. But trading back in the draft, taking a 5th round graded offensive lineman in Jackson Carman, taking kickers before you take elite offensive lineman, having all that cap space and not really addressing the future of the O-line at all. So no, Kev, I'm not going to admit that I was wrong, even if Jackson Carman pans out, because that's not a guarantee. Even the top, the guys from Notre Dame, the guys from everywhere, even those top guys aren't guaranteed to work out. But you might as well take the top of the top guys, because it at least increases your chances of it working out versus gambling on gambling on gambling. There you go.
No
Roll
craps.
them bones. We'll be back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ready for renovations? Arts Rental Equipment has the tools you need to make your home, lawn, and garden stand out this year. From brush chippers to cutoff saws, no job is too small or too big. Visit your local Arts store today. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Hello, everyone. It's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Call me today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Call It Propane has been serving the Buckeye Nation in the Miami Valley for over 65 years.
Let our family help protect your family from old man winter. Find out why 98% of our customers would recommend us to friends and family. Ask about the service options at 937-372-9194.
Family owned and operated for 3 generations, Call It Propane and Call It Seal Coating are proud to serve the Buckeye Nation.
Gathering your family around the dinner table for a home-style meal from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken is the perfect way to end a fall day. At Lee's, homestyle happens here with our 12-piece family meal for only $32.99. You'll get 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen Famous Recipe Chicken that's honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and pressure-cooked to perfection, served up with 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a homestyle meal made easy with Lee's 12-piece family meal for only $32.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
I
folks, it's me again to let you know that we've just unloaded a semi-load of fresh new landscape plants of all types. We have nice dwarf Alberta spruce, Mugo pines, taxus, pyramid arborvitae for privacy hedge, lots of nice boxwoods, magnolias, white pines, dwarf blue spruce, topiary shrubs, Fat Albert blue spruce, and dwarf Japanese red maples, and dozens of other varieties of shrubs. We also have thousands of shade trees, flowering trees, and fruit trees, and weeping trees. One of the most popular trees is the Cleveland Select flowering pear, which blooms in the spring with nice white blossoms. Every yard should have one. Our 6-acre garden center at 1309 Brand Pike is Dayton's biggest, and we've been in business since 1963. Come out and see why.
Do you have a home improvement project? Use the right tool for the job and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. Arts has the best selection from power washers and ladders to loaders and dump trailers. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Dayton area attorneys. 2689 Commons Boulevard, Suite 100, Beaver Creek, Ohio, 45431.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
And Doug.
And we're back with Limu, Emu, and Doug for the final question. Category is things you climb. All right, Limu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Oh, so close. We were looking for stairs. Huh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Don't go it alone in your job search. It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Find the location near you at expresspros.com. No fees for job seekers. expresspros.com.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
So let me get this straight. So there are reports that since college basketball practices have started, which is awesome, by the way. So rumor has it that Northern Kentucky, out of the Horizon League, Kev, that they approached the Cincinnati Bearcats about a home-and-home series.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bearcats declined because the Bearcats said, well, we don't want to put fans in BB&T Arena. We don't want to put fans in the stands. I guess the Bearcats came out and said, NK who? The Bearcats were like, no, we're too good to play you. The Bearcats think that they are too good to play Northern Kentucky. And I cannot, there's no way that storyline exists anywhere else. There's no way that storyline exists. Why would Cincinnati turn down NK? Oh, wait, no, they didn't. I'm sorry. That's not what happened. Cincinnati has a pair, and they are willing to do a home and home with Northern Kentucky. Kudos to the Bearcats that are a Big 12 team now that are willing to play at a little All Horizon League school. So kudos to the Cincinnati Bearcats. Kudos to the Bearcats who play in an actual conference, the Big 12 now. And even before that, the American Conference was actually a way, way, way better basketball conference than the A-10, just to be clear. Kudos to the Bearcats. Good for them for having the cojones to play Northern Kentucky at Northern Kentucky. How about this, Kev? I find this fascinating. So the Cincinnati Bearcats, who are probably the second best basketball program in the state of Ohio, if you look at recent history, I know that things were a little rocky last year. No more. Obviously, Coach Brandon, that didn't work out there. But Cincinnati to play at Northern Kentucky in 22. So not only are the Bearcats, not only do they have the cojones to play a little All Horizon League school, they're willing to play the little All Horizon League school next year at the little All Horizon League school's venue. And then Northern Kentucky, will play at Cincinnati and then at Northern Kentucky. So good for them.
Ask me how many miles it is from University of Cincinnati to NKU.
Tell me.
9 miles.
9?
9 miles.
I think that's one more. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Whole different state.
So the Northern Kentucky men's basketball team begins a 3-game series against Cincinnati, meeting once in a non-conference action in 3 straight seasons beginning in 2022. NKU is set to host the games at BB&T Arena. Oh, wait. So hold on. Let me get this. Northern Kentucky, of the 3-game series, they get 2 at BB&T Arena. So Cincinnati will play at NKU 2 of the next 3 seasons. Huh? And that other team that hasn't made the NCAA tournament since Archie Miller was here won't play Wright State? Can you? I mean, the Bearcats, who are the second best college basketball program in the state of Ohio, won't play at, they will go play 2 at Northern Kentucky, but Dayton won't play at Wright State or Wright State at all. Man, that booster has some pull, I tell you. That's unbelievable. Good stuff there. That's annoying. This story ticked me off because, I haven't really gone into my whole Wright State UD thing, and it's that time of year. 'Tis the season. But it took this storyline right here to really get under my skin. So Cincinnati.
Grinds your gears.
Grinds my gears. Real knucklers. I mean, I'm just saying. Oh, look, that's the alarm. That's telling me I got to go. Come on, Dayton. You can do it. I know you can. If Cincinnati, a Big 12 school now, all right, who goes to the NCAA tournament regularly, who is a million times bigger than Northern Kentucky perception-wise. If they could play at Northern Kentucky, then so can you, D. Until tomorrow, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Have a good night.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Frickin' football is here.